Okay, let me give it a second. Let me drink this real quick. Actually, let's do our intros and then I'll drink this. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Definitely hit that like button on the way in and share it because we're going to be covering some stuff today. Excuse me. As you can hear, my cold isn't completely gone. There we go. I think I just coughed out a little bit of it just now. Um, so let's do that intro again because it was botched by this disrespectful flu or cold or whatever it is I'm recovering from right now. So like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. First people in the room, hit the comment, give me a comment, please. And okay. So I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but I'll just start now. And yeah, so we're really gonna be covering FD and Yaminica or Yamanica or yeah. Anyway, um, so give me a second, everyone. Talk amongst yourselves. If you're by yourself, then talk to yourself. Give me a second. And we're back. What's going on, AB? Thank you for being in here. Okay, so I'll guess we will get out first. Um, Mr. FD Signifier, shout out to FD. And yeah, and excuse the actual rain because South Florida, of course it's raining because it's not burning hot right now. So like y'all hear me say all the time, welcome to South Florida. If it's not burning hot, it's raining. If it's not raining, it's hot, or a mixture of the two, of course. Yeah. So, you know, FD um has a couple of videos. One where he's addressing, one where he's speaking about biracials. We're going to touch on that in a minute. But there's one where he's speaking about kind of recovering from this manosphere talk. So I'm going to leave whatever is going on in the overall manosphere, or what I call the white manosphere, over there. I have nothing to say about those guys. Whatever they're doing or saying has nothing to do with what I'm doing over here with the black manosphere, in particular the group of people that I tend to speak to and chill with in the black manosphere. Um FD, y'all already lost. When it comes to the boys and the men, maybe in the long run, y'all are air quotes win. But yeah, no, y'all, it took y'all entirely way too long to address the concerns of the boys and the men. You thought that if we would just continuously, and when I say you, FD, I don't mean you in particular, or not just you, or not only you, but other kind of intersectional thinkers and these kind of movers and shakers and social designers and social people that give social commentary, and all of these people thought if you could just continuously hit the boys and the men upside the head and throw bell hooks in their face and throw just intersectional feminists in their face and send them to these intersectional classes in university and colleges across the country, across the West, that this would change the dynamics between men and women. And FD, what you're saying more and more, I don't want you to be scared of your own self, is that, yeah, the women are hypocrites. You mean kind of what the men have been saying. And once again, I'm speaking about me in particular, but also other black men that kind of frequent my space, this kind of part of the black manosphere that I occupy. Yeah, so you're saying that the same thing, was it Liz Mundy or was it one of these other women were saying, white women, was saying where, you know, if women want these positions, they have to understand that the way the system currently is, then your men are going to have to pick up the slack in another way. And when we tell women that, that's when they get off the train. They're all super staunch feminists until we tell them the power couple thing is really not a thing like that. And so if you want the corner office, then you have to understand that most likely your husband's probably going to have to be a stay-at-home dad or something like that, or he's gonna have to take a step back in his career, which means he's gonna be more, you know, involved father while you go out and slay the dragons and, you know, conquer the corporate sphere. And that's the stop where women get off. But here's the problem, right? And I'm gonna address that actually a little bit later. Let me continue with this train of thought actually. So, you know, FD is speaking about not, well, because initially I think it was a quote, not a quote, but a comment that he was reading where it said, you know, one of the guys said that he lost his cousin or his friend's cousin or something like that, to self-deletion, and at the time that person was going back and forth with their baby mama, and, you know, FD, you have to be, bro, you are supposedly a straight black man, but whatever, you are a black man born and raised in America. Bro, you gotta be more honest about the hypocrisy in women and stop just couching as internalized patriarchy. Okay, I gotta speak on this now because I was trying to hold it off because it was part of the second video, but fine. Bruh, in the black community, we don't default patriarchy. We default gynocracy. We default black woman goddess. That's what we default to. We default to queen mother. So whatever white society has going on, and Asians and Latinos with the default to patriarchy, that's a different conversation. And not only that, you have to ask yourself, is that so true over the past 50 years? Right? That's another conversation. Number one, but number two, part of the black community, oh no, paper thin facade of patriarchy. And really what it is what men often say is women wanting men to be cleanup men, which is I lead from behind, but if anything hits the fan, right? If the feces, shout out to Jeff Brown, if the feces hit the with the what do you call it, the oscillating or the rotary oscillator or whatever, right? Then it's all on you, right? So I lead until things go wrong, and then you protect, guard, block all the crap that's coming our way, and then once again I lead. That's more like what goes on in the black community between men and women. It's women leading from behind, right? The whole I let him lead. Yeah. Where did black women get that from if they're already if the black community is a patriarchy? No, it's not. And you know better, FD. You know better. Wait a minute. White men during slavery, coming out of slavery after Reconstruction, during the World War I era, post World War II era, we're just gonna let the black community be a patriarchy? Or were they just gonna do lip service to that and always try to put black women as the head? Or elevate black women as an insult to black men? What? Right? So this talk of like we all come from a patriarchal, because FD uses this example. Y'all check out the videos, and he already got views out the ass anyway, so it doesn't matter. Y'all, in one of the video, he speaks about how it's not that we take the little boys and we cordon them off and we say we're going to raise you with patriarchal ideas, and I'm paraphrasing, and then we take the little girls and say we're going to raise you with intersectional feminists. We raise everyone is raised default patriarchy. Maybe everyone outside the black community. Wait, oh, you're using the example of women talking about wanting to be feminine? No, they're wanting a particular lifestyle. All of this, what so many of you miss, and let me bring up the glaring, the elephant in the room. What so many of you miss about Kevin Samuels and the brothers in that space that make that type of content is they're usually talking to women that want a particular lifestyle. They want a particular type of man because they want him to fund their lifestyle. That's what so many of you struggle with. Wait a minute, all these educated women, attractive women, women with personality, right? Intelligent women, charismatic women, connected women, they still want men that are these uber ballers? Yes, FD. Brother, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You're just ignoring it. You are just ignoring the fact that across the spectrum, women are self-interested too. We got to get out of the idea that women are the selfless sex. No. And so when women show their selfishness, when they call into Kevin, when they call into Kendra G, and they come and they say the most insane, I'm not gonna give so many examples, but they tell you what their weight is, they tell you how many children they have, or they give you some crazy story and then say, yeah, but I need a man with 6 figures. I can't respect a man that doesn't make this much. I can't be with a man that doesn't make this much. And then that does trickle down into everything, even black men, black women's relationship. That's not intimate. They're non-intimate relationships. They're platonic relationships. Right? So we need to get out of this concept. Well, in the black community, we default patriarchy. No, we do not. First of all, how we and FD does this thing, and shout out to you, brother. I see your defense of my type of talking points. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back and be a whole egomaniac here, right? I see FD. If FD is not particularly listening to me, and we do know that FD has commented in my comments before live, but if he's not particularly just listening to me, he's listening to other brothers that kind of make this type of content I make. And so you can see he's like, FD knows we have a point, more than one point. He knows. And so now it's about kind of defending this thing. He even calls out the fact that for a very long time in feminist circles, it's men are bad. He said it. FD, it's too late. Y'all let that go on for like at least 3 generations now. At least 3. Boomers, Xers, millennials, 4. Boomers, Xers, millennials, and Gen Z. And Alpha are getting up there in age for the oldest of them. So, you don't turn this Titanic around. That's what, 5 generations? Yeah. Let's say it wasn't the boomers. Xers, millennials, Gen Z, and Alpha are getting up once again. The oldest of Alpha. So, right? So we have to be honest that y'all waited too long to correct this. And it is having an effect on your society, on our society. This is why I'm speaking about this. It's not just to dunk on FD, because the brother is smart. We could disagree with him as much as we want, but he is knowledgeable and he is smart. And so he's speaking knowing that somebody like me is going to be like, are you admitting that y'all might have took this a bit too far? Huh. The intersectional feminists over there, y'all. FD, you don't want to just call it out? Our sons are reacting to all the crazy stuff we've been saying for the past few decades? Right? Of course y'all feel like y'all are losing young men to the manosphere, and it's the algorithm. And let me actually concede this. Is the algorithm causing some of this? Potentially. I'll actually give him that. A lot of this manosphere talk, relationship talk, even amongst the women, a lot of that is the algorithm. A lot of that is for clicks and views, and these companies wanting your advertisers to continue to fund them. And so what's happening is they're getting money off of rage, right? FD is actually correct about that. He's actually right about that. He's right. But what also is happening, FD, is that when these little boys get insulted by these little girls in school, or when someone implies that they're less of a man, or like I'm going to go into this later on with the emotionally intelligent talk, right? When they have their masculinity insulted by the girls, right? That's how they start to find our space. FD himself conceded that the boys in middle school and high school, I don't remember if he said middle school, but middle school and high school are finding our content. It's not just the algorithm, FD. Yeah, they're sharing it. I went through his comments and people were admitting my kids are listening to this. I said it months ago. I've actually been saying this for years, actually. But online, I've been saying it for months. If y'all didn't address this, y'all, we already got your sons. I know I sound like a whole drug kingpin right now. We already have your sons because y'all weren't being honest with them. You know, the girls are women and they're gonna say messed up sexist stuff and they're gonna do sexist things and they're gonna question your manhood and your masculinity. And if you're a heterosexual man, they're going to imply, suggest, infer that you're gay on purpose as an insult when you don't do or say the type of things that they feel like you should be doing. Now let me get into I'm going to step away from this for a second and let me get into what I was saying about being emotionally intelligent. And this, in a way, it actually ties in. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Oh, somebody already did. All right. Shout out to Big Kev. Big Kev said, when leftists talk about patriarchy, it's a code word for authoritarian. Good point. Good point. The irony is communism itself is just a left-wing authoritarian regime. Anybody want to talk about the philosopher king? Anyway, right? Big Kev, I'm with you. I'm with you, right? That's why I always said I'm a lefty. But that communism stuff, nah. Nobody's, no one is that wise and that selfless. Yeah, no. And then there's something about doing your own thing for your own reasons and being self-interested, and wanting to reap the rewards of your hard work. There's a reason why I don't go all the way communism, but anyway, yeah. Um, but speaking about this emotionally intelligent thing, and thank you once again, Big Kev, for the super chat. You know, FD concedes, or he says, when you are emotionally intelligent as a man and you do speak to women, you have to use that softer, weak language. I call it weak ass language, but this kind of softer language, and you tell them how the things that they do or say, particularly even in an intimate relationship, how it made you feel and how it affected you. They weaponize patriarchy, and this is FD saying women weaponize patriarchy back on you. So when you are an emotionally intelligent man, what ends up happening is oftentimes even these same women who insult you for not being emotionally intelligent then turn around and use the fact that you are as a weapon against you by using some type of stop being and excuse my language, bitch type language towards you. What I would like to say to FD with this is that's the hypocrisy that I'm speaking of. It's always a me thing. They're saying these things just to get at men, in particular in the black community, to get at black men. It's always a I'm better than you. And that's what I think you struggle with, FD. It's because you genuinely think these people actually want what's best for the black community or for black women. No, they want what's best for them. So they don't actually stand on anything. They don't have any real principles, right? They don't actually have any real principles. They don't mean none of that stuff they're saying. What they really want, and I know you know this, for the vast majority of all those women, even the staunchest feminists, not all of them, but even some of the most staunchest feminists, is some loser, easy to bend, easy to break man that will fund them. I met one of these, a white woman like this. I met a couple of them, but one in particular stood out to me. Staunch white feminist stay-at-home mom. That's what I'm saying. I am woman, hear me roar on my husband's dime. Right? Oh, I forgot. We're married on our dime. Right? So, FD, you're admitting here that, and it's not just some women, and this is not even exclusive to black women. We have to be honest about the ego protection in people. We have to be honest that a lot of these people are hypocrites, right? And how does that affect your society? The reason why we're getting the boys is not just the algorithm, FD. It's because y'all took too damn long to address the hypocrisy and the lies that are coming out of feminism, even intersectional feminism. Let me move on a little bit and mention this also. FD took a little shot at our scholars. Now, I'm not going to speak for the scholars in this space. I'm speaking for Mr. Z. Debate them then, or speak to them for real. You can get in contact with them, speak to them for real. FD, I don't think you're scared. I don't think you're really scared. I think you know that they'll get with you in that conversation. And it won't just be a you keep on throwing bell hooks and other feminist scholars in their face. Because they read all the books you read. Maybe even more. Especially if it's a recorded conversation. Okay, fine, not a debate. Even if it's a recorded conversation, of course it's going to be back and forth and disagreement, obviously. It's not just going to be so easy as I'm on my high horse and I read this. And the problem is you're not engaging with this type of concept. No, they done played around with all of that. And so for you to insult these men as if they're not as well read as you, if not more, and as well resourced as you, if not more. FD, this is why the Democrats and the left are admitting they have a man problem. And quite frankly, they wouldn't even care if it wasn't affecting society, but it is. Because too many of your young men and boys are throwing their hands up. FD, when we say the juice is no longer worth the squeeze, I don't know what y'all hear over there in that kind of intersectional left black space, the black intersectional left space. That's your son saying, I'm not doing it anymore for peanuts. If even we're getting peanuts. The shaming tactics no longer work. That's what we're saying. The do it because it's the right thing to do. Or the do it because you're a man, even though we're trying to move away from this air quotes patriarchal understanding of masculinity in men. But do it because you're a man. Yeah, that no longer works anymore. Do it because I'm going to insult your masculinity. That doesn't work anymore. Do it because I'm not going to give you any sex. That doesn't work anymore. Do it because I won't have your children. That doesn't work anymore. Do it because I'm going to imply that you're gay or you're some type of LGBTQ. That doesn't work anymore. And not only does it not work for black boys and men, it's working less and less for even the white and Latinos. I'm not so sure about the Asians. And so all of we're going to give you this different form of men and of manhood where you don't have to be these patriarchal men. You know what the problem with that is? You never actually socialize the women. Ooh, see? FD, you have to be honest. The men, the young boys, and even some of the men, especially under the age of 40, millennial speaking here, we're way more socialized to be in a 50-50 relationship or even maybe even a woman-led relationship if she makes more or she's more connected than the women were actually ready to have that type of social power. They want it and don't want it at the same time. Let me say the most cliche type of phrase from the manosphere, not even just the black manosphere. They want to run things until things hit the wall, and then they don't. They want you to take the responsibility and accountability. And FD, you know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. And the hypocrisy in that is why your boys and your men are so easy to capture. Because even at a young age, FD, what you're tacitly admitting is it's not even taking these young men to be in their 20s in the dating scene for them to see the hypocrisy. They see the hypocrisy in middle school. They see it in elementary school. But they first are able to vocalize it in middle school. Not even high school. We're not even talking about 17, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. 13-year-olds see it. See, one of the biggest lies that was coming out of this lefty space was that your girls and your women were the emotionally intelligent ones. Your boys and your men were these brutes who didn't know how to speak. And you yourself, FD, you're admitting that, yeah, when we are emotionally intelligent and we do speak, we can convey that in a non-offensive or unoffensive way. What ends up happening is these women turn patriarchy around and weaponize it against us. I mean, has Mr. Z not been saying that for the past few years that y'all have been hearing Mr. Z speak on the internet? FD, yeah, I've been on that side too. Thank you for acknowledging it. I don't know now. Yeah, especially in the black community. I don't know where we get this idea that men can't speak and men are not emotionally intelligent and men don't use their words. Men are raised by their single mothers. They know how to speak. They know how to convey those emotions. FD, which you struggle with, and with other black people, namely black women, black intersectional women, these losers, what they struggle with is that, yeah, when the men do convey those emotions, the women say, yeah, I just was saying that to you because I thought you didn't know how to do it. But now that I see that you do know how to do it, I just want to tell you that I just wanted to win. It's just, I was just throwing it out there because I actually, yeah, I was actually hoping that this was the one thing I had on you, and now I don't, and I really, yeah, you're, oh, okay, stop acting like a bitch. Yeah, we need to stop talking about these conversations. We need to stop, yeah, we need to stop talking about these conversations like men are always seeking power, men are always seeking to dominate women, right? Men are these egregious patriarchs, particularly in the black community, and women, on the other hand, are always fighting for justice. They're always selfless. No, right? And I'm actually going to tie that to something you said about Bell Hooks, right? Where her takes weren't always the greatest. You mean the Central Park Five? You mean the multiple times she took jabs at black men just because? No, FD, call a thing a thing. Bell Hooks was an angry feminist black woman that was angry at black men in particular. And she wrote multiple books that y'all keep on throwing in our faces, and ain't nobody trying to hear it. Because she might have had a couple of good takes and analysis of the black community, a couple of the man-woman dynamic, particularly in the black community. She might have had one or two good takes. But for the most part, she was fueled and animated by a disdain for black men. And you know it. And you know it. That's why every once in a while you tacitly admit, like, yeah, she had a couple of bad takes. No, it wasn't a couple of bad takes. Y'all need to stop valorizing. Wait a minute. We demand that white people stop valorizing their genocidal maniac white heroes. And yet, on the black intersectional side, y'all think that black straight men in particular, are just gonna keep on watching y'all valorize these I hate black men, but I'm going to drench it in a bunch of 4 and 5 syllable words and be very polysyllabic and verbose. And that's my way of covering the fact that my main sentiment, excuse my language, is these niggas ain't shit. What does these, excuse my language once again, what does these niggas ain't shit look like coming from PhD level educated black women? Because that's pretty much what most of these women were engaging in. And then brothers like FD act like the rest of us don't see it. We may not be as well read as you, but we know an insult when we see an insult. Right? You don't need a PhD to know when somebody's insulting you. Right? Even if they have a PhD. Even if they themselves have a PhD. So y'all could stop throwing bell hooks in our face. Central Park 5 FD, that wasn't the last time she took the wrong side. And she's not the only black woman that has done that. And that's why you yourself had to admit, sometimes we might have took this these, and let's call in the black community in particular, let's call a thing. FD and a couple of these other people are some of them that are a bit more honest, let me say, are admitting, yeah, we might have took this niggas ain't shit thing a bit too far. Yep, is this affecting your society now, in your community? And way too many of your boys are sitting on their hands now, and they're watching it burn, and they're not gonna lift a finger. They're not even gonna spit on the fire. Yeah. I guess this is why Khadijah was speaking about male indifference like it's some type of dangerous act for men. No, nope. This is what y'all wanted. Y'all ladies want to run it. You and I guess the LGBTQ. So I guess it's gonna be intersectional feminist and LGBTQ people in particular in the black community. Y'all want to run this? Run it all the way. Run it right into the wall. Right? And watch more and more of your productive men. This is where Stefco comes in, right? And Kim from Fort Harriet. Watch more and more of your productive men say, yeah, we're gonna go over here with the continental African women, and or over here with the Latinas, or over here with some of the South Asian women, and y'all go ahead and y'all over there that want to do your own thing, and the only thing a black man's good for is if he has a whole lot of money or a big member, yeah. Y'all go, I'm gonna go over here and do my own thing. Y'all go over there and do your own thing. And when y'all crash and burn over there, Oh, and for those of you intellectuals, y'all keep on justifying that crap. Right? So, let me get this right, FD. You see Scott Galloway going around speaking about this. You hear Richard Reeves going around speaking about this, how men and boys are dropping off. And Scott Galloway and Richard Reeves are both kind of speaking about how women aren't necessarily making this any easier. And Richard Reeves wants to smoke with what's her face? God, it was right there in the tip of my tongue. God, the one who created intersectional feminism, and it was right there. Anyway, yeah, right. Richard Reeves wants the smoke, and FD, if you're a YouTube junkie like I am, and you're a social media junkie like I am, and it seems like you are, you see it, right? Kimberly Crenshaw, thank you very much, Big Kev, right? Yaminica's name is stuck in my head right now because I got to bring her back up in a minute, right? But yeah. And FD, you're not dumb, so you know Richard Reeves is going to take Kimberly Crenshaw's head off. You know it, I know it. Because we both know what intersectional feminism actually did, particularly in the black community. It was a way of benign neglect for black boys and men. And you know it. It was model minoritying. I know none of these are like real words. Black women and black girls. We will speak about how great you are, and we will elevate you, and we will put you on the fast lane to success. Right? While implying and suggesting, when we speak about how great you are, what's not said is in comparison to them 8-ish Negroes over there. Right? That's in the subtext. Black women are the backbone of the black community in comparison to the 8-ish Negroes over there that unlike the patriarchies that you keep on speaking about, FD Signifier, that's what they're saying. In other communities, and even this is where the divestors come in, right? In other communities, the men are the backbones of their communities. But in the black community, black women are the backbones of the black community. They're the backbone, right? This is once again where the divestors come in and say, um, black men are the weakest link. Y'all remember all of that? Black men are the weakest link. Black straight men are the weakest link. Yeah, that sounded all of that. Oh, FD, I know you remember that all through 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. Y'all remember all of that? 2018, article after article after article. Ooh, they were ratcheted that up. Y'all remember all of that? FD's kind of tacitly admitting, yeah, we might have took that a little too far. Ooh, we might have. It's looking a little ugly right now, y'all, right? And I want you to understand, FD's somewhat ahead of the curve with this. And Paris Milan, she put her finger to the wind. She smelled it too. She's like, ooh, I'm gonna have to start changing my content just a little bit, just a smidge, right? Or all the neo-Nazi level stuff I want to say, I'm gonna put it on my video and then hide it behind a Patreon wall, or I'm gonna delete it off of YouTube later, something along those lines. All right? Chrissy put her finger to the wind too. She see it. There's a couple of them that see it. I'm not putting, by the way, I'm not putting FD in the same camp as Paris Milan and Chrissy. What I'm saying is the people that have they lick their finger, they put it up to the wind, and they're like, oh crap, oh yeah, there's a wave coming. All this men ain't ish in the black community in particular, right? Black men ain't ish. Yeah, there's a wave coming, right? FD, of course you feel like we got your sons. It's too easy. It's too easy because you keep on ignoring the misbehavior of your daughters, your bratty daughters. Your entitled, materialistic, bratty daughters. Excuse me, y'all. I'm about to cough up a storm. And I'm back, right? Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And so, yeah, so FD, and for those of you that watch the videos, I put the links in the description. Y'all can check it out afterwards if y'all want any reference to what I'm speaking of. But yeah, so he, once again, in one of the videos, and it's unfortunate, someone in his comments said, they lost either a cousin or someone they know to self-deletion because that person was kind of going back and forth with their baby mom, and it ended in that person self-deleting. And that's sad, but that's common, right? Because think about what the system tells us. And FD, this is what you refuse to admit. The system tells men, oh, you got into it with a woman, your baby mom, nigga, you ain't gonna win that. Right? All of the cards are stacked against you. Negro, you are not going to win that. Right. And so there's a couple of things that FD engaged in. I think, to me, FD, don't stop taking pot shots at the Black Manosphere scholars if you're not going to have a conversation with them. Once again, this is not them saying that. This is Mr. Z saying that. This is not the scholars. I know they can speak for themselves, right? Stop taking shots of them. If you, I'll do it for $20,000. Cut that out. You keep on taking shots. It don't matter because the dudes over here and the guys that are gonna come over here, FD, you better hope your sons don't come over here. Oh, and by the way, it would be too easy. You could keep, you could hit them upside the head with all that knowledge in books. Those, that emotional hurt when you realize the hypocrisy. You were told all of this stuff and taught all of this stuff. You got to be this type of man and be involved and being emotionally intelligent. Da, 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 da. And then you run right into the wall of like, wait a minute, that's not what these girls are. They're just looking for a meal ticket. Yes, FD, even your intersectional feminists. Right? What did Fab Socialism say? Why are all these radical black women with white men? Oops. Because they didn't mean none of that crap they were talking. Right? And Big Kev says, thank you for the super chat, Big Kev. Big Kev said, their echo chamber realizes that trying to make all of the men LGBTQ or weak, as well as making all of the women promiscuous, will not create a utopia. Bruh, I would say that, but I gotta give this to the brother, the Raj report, and shout out to Raj. Right, Raj. For those of y'all that don't know, Raj is like a mentor to me. Raj has looked out a lot. Raj is much of the reason why y'all see me bringing y'all content all the time. He really, paused, but he really got in my ass. Cameron just popped it over my shoulder. Was like, pause, right? But he really got on me to, oh God, he's practicing toxic masculinity. But Raj really got on me to, really people really take to you, and you need to really, do something for your people. So, but I got to give this to Raj. Raj is 100% right on this. We just woke up too fast. I agree with you, Big Kev, but the problem, we weren't supposed to wake up this fast. Raj said this a few years ago, and he's right. We just woke up too fast. Men in general, black men in particular, were like, wait a minute, you want me to do what for what? When black men woke up before everyone else, but when other men slowly started being like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to work, earn more money than her. Children mainly go to her. She runs this household in towards the background, so I'm the face, right? Right? But she really runs it, and everything falls apart. It's my fault, and she gets to take half of whatever little bit I got. Oh no, I'm not signing up for that. And when more and more young men and young boys decided to, especially in the West, decided to start practicing their own version of laying flat, right? We just woke up too early, right? Charles Faulkner Jr., another brother that has helped me in this space, right? I'm laughing because the word quintessential always makes me laugh. I don't know why. But Charles says, FD is a quintessential coward, hiding behind $20,000 like you're even worth it. Excuse me. Aries, bro. Aries. Look, okay? But let me read that again. Let me try to excuse me, I'm choking on my own cough again. Serious time. FD is a quintessential coward, hiding behind $20,000 like you're even worth it. Your son is going to see the reality set before him and take a very particular path against black women for survival slash mental health. And that's so I'm happy you said that, Charles. That's what I'm saying to FD. And when I say that to FD, FD has two sons. Um, and it may not be his sons in particular. From my understanding, FD has a brother. And so, FD, you're going to watch it happen, bro. You're going to watch it happen around the young men around you. And even as evidenced by your own comment section. So the people that frequent you are admitting that their sons are sharing this information. The black women in your comment section are admitting that their sons are sharing this type of information. And yes, FD, the majority of your subscribers or the people that watch you are boys and men. But you fail to address, or let me take this back, because he touches on it a little bit. But you fail to be honest about how much, how much, especially, Charles is a few years older than me. Y'all struggle, and this is what you admitted to address the elephant in the room. And even Khadijah spoke on this a few months ago. The elephant in the room of like women taking this entirely way too far. The Negroes ain't ish. And y'all took it so far that your men heard that and said fine. And what does fine mean? Fine means what black people mean when they mean fine. All right, have it your way. I'm not doing anything. Or whatever I do is for me. It's all for me. So you can do whatever you want to do. I'm taking my umbrella, my raincoat, and I'm going home. So if you get stuck in the rain, that's on you. And we still don't have a society yet where this many young men could either drop out of society, decide to be extremely selfish with their resources, be adversarial towards women, or defend their resources from women, not want to get married, not want to have children, not want to put sperm in the sperm bank. We don't have that society yet. And this is a mixture of things. It's not all intersectional feminists. That would be a lie. Some of this has to do with neoliberalism and the particular stage of capitalism we're in. Some of this have to do with, yes, obviously, right? Feminism, in particular, this intersectional form of feminism that treats black men like they're white men in the black community. What was the title again? Straight black men are the white supremacists or the racists of the black community, something along those lines. Then remember the black men are the weakest link, right? Or straight black men are the weakest link. Remember when we mocked them, what year was that? 2018, 2019? When we mocked them with the Roots Articles hashtag? A comet hit Jupiter. Straight black men's fault. Aliens are invading Earth. Straight black men's fault. A wave, a giant comet hit the Earth, wiped out the subcontinent of India. Straight black men's fault. Ukraine and Russia are fighting. Straight black men's fault. Thank you, Better You. Better You said it. Straight black men are the white people of black people. Yeah. Thank you, Better You. And which y'all thought was going to happen with that FD? Years of that type of language, decades, centuries, decades of suggesting that, implying that, and then in the 2010s actually just coming out and saying it. Excuse me. No, I haven't seen it yet, Charles. I haven't seen it yet. I was getting twisted last night. But yeah. Well, I worked, but then after that. And this is so what's I think and I think what the FD crowd truly struggles with is they think that, or they act like, maybe they know better, but they act like the people that they feel they represent are on the up and up and actually mean what they're saying. Once again, men, that includes black men, are seeking power. Women, on the other hand, are seeking justice. And so, no matter what women say in that intersectional space, even when they say things out of frustration, even if it comes off sexist, even if it is sexist, even if it is misandrous, right? Even if it is misandrous, yeah, they're a bit frustrated. Yeah, they might have took it a little too far, taken it, a little too far. But for the most part, they march to the drum of justice. Where men, in the black community in particular, march to the drum of aspiring to be white patriarchs. Now, what I've noticed, and I think FD probably was always this guy, is that, and I'm almost certain he could probably bring up some video he made how long ago where he also implied or suggested some of these things too. But what I see is FD actually addressing some of the things we're saying, me in particular, or the people like me. Yeah, I'm being a whole egomaniac here. And being honest that there's a lot of hypocrisy over there. There is a lot, and much of the, and he said it himself, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but the hypocrisy over there is so easy for us to call out because the left refuses to address it. That kind of left space that he represents, right? They refuse to address the hypocrisies and the inconsistencies in their thought process, in their worldview, right? And so what ends up happening is people like me are, it's just so easy for us to just poke holes in their argument. And what I'm saying, FD, is the reason why it's so easy for us, in particular, people like me, Mr. Z, it's because we know these people are lying. See, the difference between me and FD in this respect is that he thinks these people are on the up and up, is just that every once in a while they stumble. Where I would argue, no, these people are hypocrites. And it's not that there's holes in their arguments, it's that their whole entire argument is flawed. What they're attempting to do is have their cake and eat it too. And it's easy to find the inconsistencies in the middle. What do I mean by have their cake and eat it too? Like I said, and this is what I love about the divestors. This is why I'm so focused on the divestors, because of how loud they are about, no, you don't get it. I want all of it. I want the baller dude. I want him to kiss my rear end. I want him to placate me and ego stroke me, right? I want to use him as a status symbol against white women and against my own frenemies, right? Preferably white, because I have a problem with what I see in the mirror, so I want a white man because I need white male validation for this darker skin and this broader nose and these fuller lips and these hips and this ass, right? But I want all of that, and I still want to run the show in the background. Somehow. Regardless of how educated I am, regardless of my status in life, my station in life. And FD, what I'm saying is that way more women outside of the divestor space fit that than you would like to admit. Even the non-divestors, you talk to them long enough, they start sounding like that. And so it's easy to just show, like, y'all see this, right? Is Mr. Z the only one that see this? Y'all hear their arguments? Is it Mr. Z the only one that sees the hypocrisy, the inconsistencies? Right? Give me a second, y'all. Gotta blow my nose again. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And I'm back. But yeah, so he admits that. I wanted to touch back on this real quick. You know, the emotionally intelligent comment FD spoke about, and it's in the video where he speaks about biracial black people. I guess he's saying biracial black people are black people. Um, FD had to admit that for those of us that are emotionally intelligent, for those of us that can speak in, let's call a thing, woman speak. Oh my God, that's sexist. Yeah, y'all done did so much with that word. That really doesn't mean anything to the people that y'all are trying to get over to your side because you just like completely destroyed that word. Shout out to Better You for the super chat. Better You said 2 shots of warm whiskey and lemon would have that cold gone in a day and a half, bro. Look, I've worked on a side note, I've worked every day. Tomorrow's my first day off in like 13 days or 14 days or something like that. So the 2 shots of whiskey, ugh. And when I say that, I mean like, as a matter of fact, I could have maybe did that last night because that was the first time where I could have like done that and then not have to worry about the after effects because of work, right? But every other day outside of that, I would have had to worry about the after effects, right? So yeah. So whatever I have left of this will be killed tonight, right? And you just take from that what you will. But you know, and then once again, thank you, Better You, for the thank you for the wisdom and thank you for the super chat. Um, but yeah, so you know, yeah, I'm um Turmo Cat says you're going hard, bro. Look, Turmo Cat, if I told you how much money I spent on 3 cars car repair over the past month, yeah, there's a reason. Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, right. But you know, black men are monsters. You know, and one of the cars is even mine. D Scott said, "Mr. Z got 3 jobs." uh it's funny because everybody's like, "Well, you working like a Jamaican." I'm like, "Wait, I'm Haitian descent. What do you mean?" But you know, so and thank you for that, D Scott. Thank you for the super chat. You know, FD was honest about this, and I'm actually glad he's honest about that. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna use it to kind of hit you upside the head with a little bit, and you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. You actually mentioned it. Um, and what FD does is like when he kind of brings women up to task for this. It's interesting how he does it. He's like, okay, ladies, look, y'all gotta admit, like when y'all do run into emotionally intelligent man, it's a bit challenging because y'all wasn't ready for that shit, and like, yeah, so you know, D. Scott said Jamaican with a Rick Ross beard, hysterical, right? But he's right. FD is right. When when women, black women in particular, come across an emotionally intelligent man that they can't weaponize, you're not emotionally intelligent against, then you're all type of named a homophobic slur, excuse me, named a homophobic slur. Of course. Because they were only saying you're not emotionally intelligent to have a one up on you, FD. That's my whole point. That's most of our whole point. The entire intersectional feminist argument is built off of one upsmanship on black men in particular in the black community. You refuse to accept that, even though you see the inconsistencies. And if you see the inconsistencies, that means every once in a while, FD in your deepest, darkest parts that you don't want to admit, you see what I see. All right? It's all one-upmanship. You bring up how more, excuse me, you bring up how much more educated black women are than black men. Yeah, but we make more because we work more. Those of us that work more hours. Exhibit A, me. How many women in America, namely black women in America, are doing the hours I'm doing a week? At the minimum 65, up to 80. Who's pulling that? So yeah, she could be as educated as she want to be, but if she working 32 hours a week or 40, I could actually be making less than her an hour and still outpace her if I'm working 65 plus. Duh. She could be salaried. But when we start running those numbers in the long run, that don't mean it. That 45, 50 that she making don't mean anything. If I was supposed to be making 35, but I'm running how many hours overtime every week? Right? All this blowing smoke up black women's rear end while taking shots at black men, the Derek Jackson thing. That's how y'all get these delusional daughters that now your sons are showing you more and more. Yeah, I don't want anything to do with them. Right? I tried not to read the whole comment. I tried. I tried. Better you. Better you. I gotta read this out loud. Better you said she don't gotta work like that, Mr. Z. She gonna pray to her rocks and manifest it. Bruh. And it's when it comes to class conversations, and it would be do women have shot themselves in the foot, and particularly in the black community. If you want to know why you see this kind of uptick, one of the reasons, because I agree with FD, a lot of this has to do with the algorithm. Um, but one of the reasons why you see an uptick in this kind of conservative with a capital C, rhetoric, and when you hear me say conservative with a capital C, know that that means that it leans a bit white racist. At the least, it leans a little bit white racist and authoritarian. Um, at the least, right? It's because amongst working class men and black men, it's because you ignored their plight for so long, and you actually chastised them in the black community for being working class men because they weren't the elites, right? And they didn't have a certain way of speaking, Barack Obama speech, and they didn't do enough misandrous talk to their youth, right? And so now, and I'm tying this to what Better You said about not working this hard and manifesting. Now, what you have in some of these circles is a screw it then. If the system's not going to work for me at all, then tear it all down. Burn the safety net to the ground, right? If I'm a monster, I'm some sexist, patriarchal monster, but patriarchy's only bad when a black woman's feelings get hurt, right? Let's be very clear, FD. If you didn't understand what I've been saying this whole time, I just summed it up right there. These women want patriarchy. That's the most open kept secret in the black community. That's what some of your feminist scholars are finding more and more. The women actually want patriarchy. But when their feelings get hurt, that's when they make fun. That's when they chastise it. That's when they have a problem with it. When their little feelings get hurt. See, I think FD thinks his circle is way larger than it actually is. But even Kim from For Harriet has to admit, and she actually says this all the time, and I'm gonna butcher how she says it. But essentially, these women are like feminists in the streets, but patriarchy and patriarchal women in the sheets, right? She says it a different way, and it actually sounds better how she says it, to be honest. But essentially, that's what she's saying. And even your white feminists are admitting that more and more, because the outside of, there's women that are single, or they're doing their she got to have it type of lifestyle. They live in that type of life, and they're accomplished enough to live that life and not have to worry about they're not trying to have children. And there's something to be said about so many of these women, so many of the people that are commenting about man woman relationships are not married, don't ever want to be married, or don't care to be married, and definitely don't want to have children. There is something to be said about these people. That's what, as as much as I disagree with FD, it's not just because he's a man that I speak to him a certain way. It's because he's a father, he's married, and so my critique of him is a bit different because he's invested in the next generation, right? Some of these other speakers, namely these particular women, I almost lost my religion right there. Um, they admit they don't ever want it. They don't care to be married. They don't ever want to have children. And the reason why that matters is because people like that, they can salt the earth. I don't care. I don't have any kids. I'm not going to bring any children into this world. So I can pollute the water with my misandrous rhetoric because I don't have to raise a child in this environment that I help to pollute. Right? I can say all these misandrous things because I'm not going to have a son that has to deal with this type of language. And I'm not going to I don't have a daughter that's going to have to try to marry one of these boys that I help to handicap, right? These boys that become men that I help to handicap, right? So let me get back to what I was saying with class. And I'm sorry I went off on a tangent right there. I had to say what I just said. But and that's why I really have an issue with some of these people and their commentary. Like, I don't have any children, but I am in a relationship. I want to be married one day. I want to have children. So I'm invested in what the future looks like for black people, for this world, for this country, right? I'm invested. I do want to be married. I do want to have children. These other people are admitting they don't really care to be married. They don't want children no matter what. So of course, so you could, at best, let's be a little nice. At best, you could do this little weird experiment thing with this kind of intersectional feminist thing because it's not your actual son. It's not your actual daughter because you don't have any children. And even for some of the women that have girls, you don't have a son. So you don't actually have to go through with him what it's like when all that experiment stuff that you've been trying to do, you actually try it with your son and it fails. And it might actually backfire, worse than fail. Right? So I just wanted to put that there on the table. Um, yeah, so the class thing, more and more, what you see is certain men saying no to a lot of this. And it's not all. I'm not going to even say more and more. That's why I pulled that back. Certain men saying no to a lot of this because for what? Right? For what? How do I benefit from this? Oh, it's just a safety net for the women that took basket weaving in college, right? Right? Or like Charles said, um, um, and wet paper bag, right? No. That's not the comment. Where is the comment where Charles was like educated? There we go, educated in pie making degree. Sorry, pie making degree. Exactly. So that's what we're gonna pay off people's college student loans for. So of course, some of these men are going to fight against some of these social programs that are here to relieve some stress because they don't see how they benefit from it. And that's something the left is going to really have to struggle with. This is why you're shedding men in the left on the left, right? It's not that certain men don't see the issues, working class men and poor men, but they've been hit the hardest with this weirdo feminist rhetoric. Because what it's done is it's turned every man into this hegemonic masculine man that is just here to lord over women, beat up on LGBTQ, and indoctrinate their sons and their daughters in this worship the male phallus mentality. Like that's how we speak about men in general, and we make it seem as if working class men are in some meeting with elite men saying, yeah, I know I don't make as much money as you and have the status as you, but I want to be just like you. So like I'm going to socialize my children to worship at the altar of Jeff Bezos' penis. Of Elon Musk's penis. Like it's all about you and everything you do. I wish I was you too. And like, are there men that wish they were Jeff Bezos? Yes, but do most men look at Jeff Bezos like this is a loser that made it? Right? This is a square ass loser dude that made it. Right? This is what happened when Voldemort wins the lottery. Right? Got people peeing in bottles. Union busting. Like we see that too. But the reason why some of us were mum's the word is because why not? Right? So let me get into to some of the more fiery stuff. Yaminica, I'm gonna be mispronouncing her name like all the time. Um, on comedy hype against Pierre, and I think Pierre's framing was so wrong with this because Pierre just kept on framing it like, why are you? Oh, let me give y'all the overview. Yamanika and Pierre were speaking about the Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion debacle, and whether she shot him or not is not even up for debate. And well, whether she was shot or not is not even up for debate. Now it's who shot her. Was it with Tory Lanez or was it the best friend or did the gun go off by accident or blah blah blah? And the way Pierre kept on framing it was, why y'all keep on covering for these men that don't care about y'all in the first place? And the conversation came to a fever pitch towards the end, and Yaminica used all of the Paris Milan and Real Talk with Yanni and that kind of divester adjacent language. All of it. She actually said the word divest, but she once again put that on black men, like y'all divest from the community and we protect y'all and we do this and da 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 da. And I'm tired of it. And whew, yeah. So is Yamanika a secret divester? Or a failed divester? Right? Maybe. She used all of the. She actually used the every 5.5 hours. So somebody been snooping around Paris Milan them page. Huh. Huh. So Yamanika was saying, when I say, for those of you, once again, the link is in my description. She just started going off. Black men not showing up. These Negroes they don't think I deserve protection. Yeah, you don't. Oh, damn, Mr. Z, did you just say that? Yeah, you, Miss Yaminica, you and your same diatribe were speaking how black women have it all together. People that have it all together don't need protection. God, ooh, Mr. Z, yeah. If you are holding it down so much, Miss Yamanika, you don't need protection. Why give you excess which you already have? You have it. You got you. Right? You got you. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Miss Yaminica, you got yourself. You got it. Right? Solo dolo. Black women got it. Black women like you, why protect someone that already got it together? And then, don't y'all love when women do this? Black women in particular do this. We're protecting you even though you're attacking us because we fear that when the cop comes, and this is what Pierre was really getting on her for. Even we call the cops on you. Once again, we call the cops on you. But when the cop gets here, or sometimes we don't call the cop on you, but okay, the cop's here. We're afraid to tell them what happened or to turn you in or to snitch you out because we're afraid they're going to kill you. And Yaminica speaks about a personal issue she had like this, right? An actual situation that actually happened to her where a man was attacking her and she feared for his life even though he was attacking her, right? And you hear this from black women often. Here's the problem: women initiate most of the domestic violence situations. Miss Yaminico, we have multiple police in this black manosphere space. In the manosphere space, we have multiple police that have nothing to do with the manosphere that will back this up. We have judges that will back this up. Yeah, women initiate the majority of domestic violence. So what are you talking about? What you're saying, Miss Yaminica, and if I can be so, and FD, listen straight up. Women start the fight, but we're bigger and stronger, so we win. Yeah, I know that sounded sexist as hell. Yeah, you started the fight. We're not going to let you beat us to a pulp and we win. Why don't you just walk away? You can ask just about every man who's ever been in a relationship with a woman. If there's one way out that apartment, she's probably going to try to block it. You're going to listen to me. All right. Right. Charles says, what did I say? What's the first rule of protection? Right? If you ain't listening to those warnings, then if you're not listening to that advice, then right? So Miss Yaminica speaks this way. It always comes down. No, let's call a thing. And I actually have a relative that went through this, where the wife called the cops. The cops came, spoke to the kids. I mean, excuse me. The wife called the cops. The cops came, and the wife is the one that went to the jail because the kids were honest and said the wife, their mom, started hitting first. Actually, not just started hitting first. He really just was defending himself. He really never struck her back. And that happens a lot. So the reason why is because a part of you knows that if this goes all the way, it's gonna be found out that I'm the one who initiated. And not only initiated, probably I'm the one who kept it going. Y'all really don't want to have that conversation now, do y'all, Miss Yaminica? See, Miss Yaminica, when you keep on deep throating all of that divestor adjacent conversation, their thought process over there, their rhetoric, you don't have a holistic view. And so it's so easy to pick your argument apart. That's what FD Signifier was trying to warn y'all about. Ooh, goddamn. You see how I just tied that in? Y'all keep on doing the mid or bad thing. FD, you're on the cutting edge. You see where this ship is going. The rest of them don't. They're going to hit the iceberg and drown and die. Also, and when we say die, much of that is not literal death. It's social death and economic death. Oh, they're dying. Y'all give me a second. Gotta blow this nose again. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Right? I'm back. So, Yaminica, once again, she used all the divestment language, right? Women are killed by men, black men every 5.5 hours type stuff. Y'all divest from us more. Y'all not on our level educationally. When we make more, y'all do this. When we make less, y'all do that. Right? She did the whole we can't win for losing type thing. And then y'all say we're not, we don't deserve protection, and da 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 da. And then when we go out and get educated and make money, y'all feel a certain way. And then she literally, there's no way she doesn't know who Paris Milan is. There's no way. There's no way. Right? Indigo Flow, thank you for the excuse me, y'all. Thank you for the super chat. And Indigo Flow says, Yaminica wouldn't be saying none of that if she was desirable by men. I mean, there might be some white guy in the wings somewhere. She might be doing a Lonnie Love. We just don't know, right? I will say, um, when she was going on her diatribe towards the end of that conversation, that wasn't necessarily an appealing look. I'll just say that, and I'll leave that right there, right? So yeah, Charles Charles says, Mr. Z, 70% of domestic violent victims, and this is from a feminist study, are men, and most of the attackers are women. And with that, Miss Yaminica doesn't know that, and even if she did, she would still be on what she's on. This is what happens when you defend your position to the hilt, and you are at best uninformed or misinformed, and at worst you have an agenda, so you're lying by omission. You're purposely not speaking or ignoring or not bringing in certain other facts that might make what you're saying seem a bit, what's the word I'm looking for, off, right? And so like I said, Yaminica was looking like a whole, to me, a fool, but standard, just be there for us no matter what. This goes back to the video I made a couple nights ago about Stefco, right? What do black people owe black people? What do black people in the black community owe black people? And what's coming out more and more, and I want to direct this to FD, with more and more of these conversations, as black men shine the light on the conversation amongst black men and black women that's actually happening. Not the stuff y'all been telling white people and non-black people been happening all through academia over the past 40 years. How y'all been skewing the conversation. Like black men are these raving lunatics coming in the black community, punching LGBTQ out, punching black women out, abusing the children, kicking the dog on the way in the door. No. Now that we just, and when we say shine the light, we literally mean just put a microphone in your face and say, hey, just tell us what you think. These niggas ain't shit. And there you go. Right? So it's these niggas ain't shit from the bottom to the top. Your more educated black female scholars just use $1,000,000 words to say it. Yeah. Brother, you got it. Brother or sister, you got to tell me how to pronounce that name. Jeez. Kanyada? Did I say that right? Did I pronounce that right? Lion 917 said, sounds like a typical black woman rant. I'll pass. And yeah, it was. And that's what you see going on a lot in these spaces. And I think it's something that we're not necessarily honest about. And y'all give me a second. On line 07 917, thank you very much. Okay, see, now I can see it, but I gotta like check it right when somebody sends me a cash out. But Lionel 917, thank you very much for the cash app. Thank you very much, brother. Right? Now, like I said, Kanye. I think I'm saying your name correctly. Kenyatta. Thank you once again for the super sticker. Um, and so you're right. She it was stereotypical stuff, and we take these things and we put them on our shoulders. Um, I don't know if Yaminica has any children. Um, I remember Yaminica from way back. I don't even. Yeah, I remember her from way back. She was on the. I remember seeing her on a clip of the talk. She was just on Comedy Hype again for something a little while ago. Like I've been seeing her on and off for a while. Canada, 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 maybe, right? But once again, thank you. Um, and yeah, so the reason why I'm covering her in particular is it's the framing of the Meg Thee Stallion Tory Lanez, and she really went into like she went everywhere with it. She didn't stay stuck on the content on the subject matter. She went all over the world to just say you Negroes ain't ish. And Lionel, you are I said Lionel, Lion, you are 100% correct. Right? You are 100% correct. Just typical Negroes ain't ish black woman ramble, right? And if y'all ever notice, y'all know it's black. Mr. Z never has said that because I don't believe that black women ain't ish. I've never said it because I don't believe it. What I've maintained is you sound crazy as crap. You're going to lose your head. You're probably gonna die miserable with a fake smile on your face, i.e., Eartha Kitt. Like literally, I am watching, particularly my generation. Charles, you could correct me if I'm wrong. Better you could correct me if I'm wrong. All the brothers in our 30s, late 20s, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. We're watching our generation of women be miserable with the fake Eartha Kitt smile, pretending like everything's all right. And every once in a while, when they gather in their supposed safe spaces where they think Mr. Z is not lurking and reading the comments, they'll admit they haven't had sex in how many years, and they're not happy, and they've been single for this long, and yeah. But then when you meet them in real life, they got the fake smile on your face. And then your girlfriend or wife would start telling you about her homegirls, her female siblings, her female relatives who's crying themselves to sleep at night with a toy in their hand every night. Somebody telling me I'm lying. Go ahead. Which one of y'all want to tell me I'm lying? Right? Charles says they're cracking at the seams. Better you said that's big facts. Who want to tell me I'm lying? What's going on, Trail? So, Miss Yaminica, that whole tirade you gave at the end, standard black women issue stuff. We know y'all ain't happy and y'all miserable. Go find those white men. I love doing this. Shout out to the brother Edward Anderson. We're less than just go get those white men then. We're not showing up for y'all. We're weak. We're pathetic. We ain't going to school enough. Blah 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 blah, etc. etc. Go get those white men. The same thing I told oh Stefco. Yeah, we you know what? Black men are trash. We're horrible. Yeah yeah. Go get those white men then. Just go. Right. You're right, Miss Yaminica. Black men are just we're running out of our homes in the morning. We can't wait to be physically abusive to a black woman. We can't wait. We get off on it, right? Excuse me, Charles said their vibrators are filing for protective orders. Let me read that again. Charles said their vibrators are filing for protective orders. Bro, like, shout out to Corey Holcomb, but he said it like, y'all gotta keep on doing that, and you're you know, that spot, y'all gotta okay. Let's just say you're gonna make yourself desensitized. Okay? You keep on hitting that spot a little too much, you're gonna make yourself desensitized. I'll say that. Right? K Dot said I skipped a question. He had a question. Let me see. Wait a minute. K Dot, I do not see a question from you. See, that's why I keep having to flip through comments because. Oh, see, I didn't even know Dr. Thunder was in here. And Victor Creed. Okay, I don't even see. Give me a second. Yeah, I do not see, and that is exactly why. I didn't read this comment too. Shout out to AB. AB said, yep, and Democrats need to go more in the Bernie direction. Otherwise, they'll be in trouble in 2024. Yeah, they're going to be in trouble in 2024. They're just going to be in trouble in 2024. They're going to try to shoehorn all that crap. Okay, I see your comment now, K Dot. But yeah, they're going to try to shoehorn all that go along to get along. Just let the boat flow in the direction it is right now. Biden, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama thing. Talking about that. Side note, everyone. Did you see AB? Did you see the clip of Barack Obama pretty much feeling a certain way that people are calling him a war criminal? Like he essentially what he was saying. He was giving a lecture or he was something like that. He was pretty much saying like it's easy for y'all to say. Y'all sit behind y'all screens just typing and critiquing, and it's easy for y'all to critique me and the decisions I made. It's easy. It essentially is where he was going. I'm like, Negro, you were the president. You signed up for it, and you. I'm just gonna leave that critique there. But yeah, you were the president, and you signed up for it. So you signed up for the critique too. And by the way, you didn't just sign up for the critique while you were president. You signed up to be critiqued till you die. Wait, sorry, till the end of history. Right? Oops. I'm just saying. All right. And K Dot asks, can someone explain to me why these biracial women have a problem with black men dating white women, but find it okay for black women to date white men? Yeah, I didn't see those comments. I've seen those comments. Right? And yeah, I mean, yeah, I saw. I made the video about that already. And yeah, so of course they, and you're referring to the clip with the three biracial, and I think you are referring to the clip with the three biracial women. And I watched the whole thing, or not watch because I was at work, so listen to the whole thing. And yeah, it ended once again. Okay, let's do that. Let's tie in what FD was saying to what Yaminica is saying, to what those women are saying, to what Ostefko also has said about the difference between why black women do things and why black men do things, right? And so it always goes back to you as a black man when you're with a white woman, it's because either you hate yourself or you hate black women. So you hate what you see in the mirror, or you hate black women and black girls. And so when you are with, how did I forget this one? Or you're attempting to be a white man. So you can't be a white man. Most likely you haven't billed. You don't have any money, or you might have money. Once again, these things are not necessarily supposed to be consistent. They're just ways of insulting you. You're educated or non-educated, but you're accomplished or not accomplished. But either way, you can't actually be the white man. So the closest you can get to being the white man is having the white man's prized possession, which is his woman. I don't know what they're talking about. It's his money and his status, but okay. And his power mainly, um, his social, political, and economic power. I don't know why they think it's his woman. That nigga will give his woman away for the political, social, and economic power, and you're gonna see that more and more when these artificial wombs become a thing. Whoa, Katie, shout out to Jason Black. Katie bar the doors. When the artificial wombs become a thing, you're gonna really see what white men think about white women. It's really, you're gonna really see what white men think about white women when those artificial wombs become a thing. All right, but going to this again, um, it's different when black women do it. When black women date out, they're dating out because they have no choice, right? When black women date out, when they marry outside of the black race, they're dating and marry out because they have no choices, because there's not enough suitable good black men, not enough black men are educated, not enough black men make a certain type of money, not enough black men have status, not enough black men are just not good enough, right? There's not enough good enough black men. Now, when black men date out, or when because black women assume they're just the bee's knees, right? So when you date out, it's an affront to black women, because the way black women speak is this. There's a bunch of Kelly Rowland and Carrie Hilsons. I'm doing that on purpose because I want to cover the color spectrum, right? So there is a bunch of Lupitas and Kelly Rowland and Carrie Hilsons running around the black community. And what black men are doing is covering their eyes and just stiff arming all of those black women and running right to the honey boo boo built white women. Right? I'm purposely making such a huge dichotomy because that's how black women speak about it, including your biracial. So to address what you're saying, K Dot. So it is an insult for them. It is an insult when a black man is with a white woman, because the way they see it is, you just walk through a bunch of beautiful, gorgeous, educated, intelligent black women, and you're so obsessed with white women that you would take the most heavy-set, unattractive, unappealing, uneducated, lack of couth, no class having white woman over your most attractive white black women. There's a reason why I made such a big gap. Right? Trell Bentley, perfect word, altruistic. Right? Black men have an agenda when you date or marry a white woman, particularly Latinas, yes, also Asian women, yes, also, right? But particularly white women. When black men date or marry white women, it's not about love. No, 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 no. Not that she understands you, not that she met you in high school or in college when y'all both didn't have anything and she just rode with you. No. You hunt white women. You run out the door every morning hunting white women. And if you can't get a white woman, then you'll settle for a black woman. Right? But when she's with a white man, when she ends up with a white man, when she dates or marries a white man, it's simply because she tried with black men. Black men. And isn't this what you hear oftentimes when these black women end up with white men, these black female celebrities end up with white men? She tried with black men, right? So it's always framed as black men are lacking, right? So even for the black men that I do have, they have a colorism preference. They have a colorist tendencies. They once again want to lord over women. They have some serious character flaws. So when the women on their particular level end up with a white man, like, what black woman wants to end up with this type of successful black man? What black woman wants to end up with? They're all horrible. So I ended up with, Alexis Ohanian. I mean, Serena tried with black men, right? Eve tried with black men, right? Kamala tried with black men, right? So that's how it's framed. So even the biracial women, they adopt that same mentality also. Remember, I've said this before. I want to say this again. I want to stress this, even in this video. Black women speak as if they love black men in spite of black men being horrible. We love you even though you're absolute everything about you is wrong. Everything about you as a black man is wrong. Everything about you is wrong. The only thing you might have going for you is that you might be able to dance and you might have a large member and you might be fit. And that's for those of us that are, right? Everything about you is wrong, but black women love you anyway. So they don't see an issue with them dating or marrying out. Where on the flip side, it's black women are absolutely great. They're the bee's knees. Once again, they're queen mother, right? The black woman goddess. So when you date out or marry out, and this is kind of speaking, just touching a little bit on the nameless protagonist hive theory. When you as a black man date out or marry out, it is an affront to black women. How dare you? Right? We just killed the cow, ground it up, seasoned the beef, right? Grilled it. You got this absolute, you have the best absolute burger possible. And you went to McDonald's, right? And the reason that you went to McDonald's is because you have a fast food addiction. That's how it's phrased. Or excuse me, that's how it's framed. Right? Black men have an issue with what they see in the mirror, and they definitely hate black women. So when they end up in a relationship with white women in particular, Latinas, yes, Asians, yes, indigenous, yes, whoever else, yes. But white women in particular, it's a hatred. It's because they hate what they see in the mirror or they hate black women. They purposely hunted that white woman out to snub black women. And black women, on the other hand, you know, like I said before, everything about them is great, and so, and this is somewhat of the divestors argument, right? Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. The divestors makes a bit of this argument, right? When we get in relationship with white men, look at our divorce rate. Look how low it is. That's because you're getting the best of the black race and the best of the white race. Because this is the argument they make. Seriously. Black women are who hold up the black race, right? White men are who hold up the white race. So in other words, black boys and men are spoiled children, and white girls and white women are spoiled children. So when black women and white men get together, their marriages last longer, not because of the money, not because of the power dynamic, right? Not because even intersectionality informs us black women are at the very bottom, white men at the very top, because they're male and white. Black women are women and black, and so that power dynamic is what keeps the relationship going. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's because black women are the best of the black race and white men are the best of the white race, and so when they get together, they create superhumans, and they themselves are super, and so they have a low divorce rate because they understand each other, right? That's how it's framed. So yes, and I know I just went on a whole ramble about this, but yes, this is, even your biracials adopt this worldview. Your biracial women, and so that's how you can have three biracial women really speak to this hypocrisy and have no problem saying it. That's absolutely none, right? So, you know, back to the topic at hand. Speaking to once again the Yaminica and her I'm trying to find the right word about how she went off on Pierre and the things that she was saying, and just literally word for word, point for point, you can tell that she watches content on the internet, and she literally was speaking as if she is a Paris Milan follower. And I'm not just saying that just to throw Paris Milan's name in there. No, these are things that are recited on Paris Milan's channel. And when she brought up the every 5.5 hours, I was like, oh yeah, oh shoot, right? And so I say to her, then go end up with the white husband, right? And y'all excuse me, give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Mr. Z got to blow his nose. And I'm back. And yeah, and it was I I agree with Charles. They are cracking at the seams. They're ripping at the seams. Um, and it's manifesting in different ways, right? Talking about the word manifest, it's manifesting in different ways. You see some of them almost seeming a bit giddy, like they're trying to cover, hide from even their own selves with a lot of like funny talk and laughing all the time, and always want to speak about positivity and you know positive energy and positive this and positive that. You have those of them that dive head first into more and more black men ain't ish content, and a lot of this has to do with the I could turn this right back around and blame most of this on this particular brand of the economic structure that we live in, that has atomized us and kind of isolated us as human beings, right? The difference is, once again, people like Mr. Z speaks about this all the time. This is where Green Gorilla comes in and speaks about stuff like this all the time. Um, but none of these female content creators, like almost none of them, like I said, you get Julesy occasionally, you get every once in a while Kim from Fort Harriet will mention it a little bit. Um, who else? Nappy Headed Hobo will mention it just about a little bit. But outside of that, but once again, they're not part of that. Like, Yaminica is not watching them, right? So, and I could tell from the way she was speaking, right? Yeah, Kidology will mention it a little bit too. I'm like, yeah, you're right, you're right, you're right. Jafar, yes. Kidology will mention it a bit, but Kidology, once again, woman, black woman that was raised by white people, so Kidology is a hit or miss for me, right? But there's outside of a particular few, for the most part, no. And so what you hear from Yaminica is like, once again, just a bunch of angry black women babble, like with no context of what's going on, to help to create that, and then how people like her perpetuate that. So it's more and more of the, you Negroes ain't ish, y'all ain't showing up for me, right? Okay, okay. Toya said it's Yamanika. Yamanika? Yamanika. Did I pronounce it right? Right. And and so that loneliness, that, and going back to how this is manifesting in our face. In our face, right? That loneliness is manifesting in some of them going on to a 50 plus year old man channel when he was alive, rest in peace, to ask him for advice, right? And really, what they were doing was hunting for high value men, rich dudes. Um, what some of that is manifesting into is them listening to the Chrissies of the world and the Real Talk with Yannies of the world and the Paris Malons of the world because they it's about that emotional high and low, so they need that like that dope, right? That rage porn. Um, it's manifesting like that. Like I said, some of it is manifesting in a bit of the more somber speech that comes from Ostefko, right? And some of it is manifesting in the highfalutin, but you niggas still ain't shit speech that comes from Kim from For Harriet. But at the end of the day, with it all, and Khadijah, sorry, Khadijah also. That's where the highfalutin you niggas ain't shit. But I care about y'all, but you niggas ain't shit. Um, and Khadijah, yeah, that's her lane right there. Um, I care about you, but I just want you to know that you're lacking in like every way possible, and you're horrible. But I love you anyway. Um, and it's manifesting in these different type of ways. But what it really is how women are interacting with this form of late stage capitalism, neoliberalism, the atomization of everyone, the commodification of human beings, including men, um, this kind of hyper materialism, the you define yourself by the type of things you have and the brand names you can acquire, and it's very hollow. It is very hollow, but women want to engage with it anyway. Oh, you thought I wasn't gonna go there? No, 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 no. Yeah, Mr. Z's going there. It is hollow, and it is stripping them of their own humanity, but they still want it. Oh well. Most of them still are incapable of critiquing it, and even if they do critique it, they still want it though. Fine. And what that means is women like Yaminica will always see black men as lacking simply because black men are not white men. Beginning, end. You can speak about it however you want. You can critique black men however you want. Because in critiquing black men, the way you critique black men is to juxtapose them to someone else. Who's the someone else? Oops. Black men kill black women at every 5.5 hours. Okay. In comparison to who? And even Yamanika got into it. She implied it herself. Other men don't do that. Other men don't. Oh, Stefko's done it too. Other men don't speak about women like this. What other men are you talking about? Have you never heard of this thing called the manosphere? When you hear white men say Western women, what do you think they mean? Just because they don't literally say white women? Wait, if you realize white men been catching planes to go marry some Eastern European, you realize white men been catching planes to go to South Asia and find them some Filipina. You realize that, right? You realize that they've been going to Thailand to have sex and have fun with the boys and the girls. Ooh, goddamn, Mr. Z. Ooh, whoops. And marry the women, right? So when you say the men in the other races don't do that, what do you mean? I mean, did we not remember? Do we not remember the comment that was left in one of those bathrooms in what is it, UCLA, that said Asian women are white men's whores or something like that? Excuse my language. Who wrote that? Who you think a black man wrote that? You think a white man wrote that, or do you think an Asian man wrote that? Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all always say, I love it when black women say these things in a vacuum. You don't see men of other races doing that. First of all, don't hold black men to these weird standards. But you're gonna feel hurt when we're like, what do you mean? You don't know what you're talking about. You know, like how Mr. Z's doing right now. This is one thing I agree with the brother Rael 100%. These other people aren't our moral standard, number one. Number two, if you are going to hold us to that moral standard, you better make sure you know what you're talking about. And guess what? You don't know what you're talking about, right? Jamfar, thank you for the super chat. Jamfar said, if they critique it, they say it. Men made society that way and suffer from the society. So in their mind, it's low key karma. Yes, 100%. 100%. And this is how they dismiss black men being black men. This is how intersectionality is weaponized against black men because you're still a man. And when they say man, they mean white man. You're just an off-brand, lesser, weaker, more incompetent, right? Unaccomplished white man. This is how they use intersectionality to dismiss all of your plights, right? Because whatever happens to black men, it happened to you because you're weak and pathetic. You're still a man. I mean, literally, when I was on the phone with Paris Milan, she pulled one of those. Well, but black women are outpacing black men, and you're still men. You're men, not black men. You're men. Hey, it's only been 50 years out of Jim Crow. They talking to you like you're a white man. Indigo Flow, you already know my terminology. Cosmic justice, yes. Anything that happens to black men, men in general, but black men specifically, is a form of cosmic justice. So anything that happens to a working class, poor, lower middle class black man, it's cosmic justice. And for black women in specific, ooh, let me go here. Black women in the West. Oh, y'all about to get it. You know what they're saying? It's your fault for slavery. Ooh, yeah, I went there. It's your fault we got captured. It's your fault what happened on those slave ships. It's your fault what happened on the plantation in America, in Haiti, in Dominican Republic, in South America, blah, blah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Jamaica, Bahamas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Canada, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? When black women start talking and you can hear they're going to that karma, cosmic justice thing, what they're really saying, this is your fault. From Africa, that's why they say, well, y'all are the ones who sold us. You mean those of us with French last names because we're Haitian, um, British last names because we're either Jamaican or Bahamian or Black American or whatever, Spanish last names because we are from some type of Latino Dominican Republic or Cuba or whatever. Portuguese last names because we're Brazilian or whatever the hell ever. Um, so for those of us with these kind of European surnames, it's our fault that we sold us into slavery? It doesn't even make any sense. I Wait a minute. I grew up here. I was born here. I don't have a African surname. I'm not. I don't have an Igbo surname. I don't have a Yoruba surname, a Zulu surname. I don't. What? But it's cosmic justice for me selling me into slavery and selling you into slavery. What? Right? How backwards is that? But hey, so yeah, the cosmic justice, and like Jamfar said, that low key karma, yeah. And once again, this is how they malign and sideline and just ignore all of the plights of working class, poor, middle, lower middle class black men in particular. You're still a man though. And this is, let me bring up FD again. This is how the intersectionality has been used in particular. This was the main reason for intersectionality, and we all know it. In FD, you realize it more and more every day. I can see you battling it. Oh, I see it. I see it, FD. I see you battling it. I see it. You don't want to admit Kimberly Crenshaw came up with that, and every other black woman that jumped on that in academia was like, ooh, yeah. We got screwed over by white women with second wave feminism. And this is a way for us to get the little bit of, instead of us sharing this crumb with black men, this is how we're going to snatch the whole damn crumb. We let white women run out the back door with all the baubles that was supposed to come from civil rights and even second wave feminism. We let them run out the back door with all of it. And the crumb that they left or they dropped, we're going to use intersectionality to beat black men over the head with and then run out the back door with the crumb left. Because what intersectionality allows you to do is practice benign neglect on black men, particularly straight black men. Right? So yeah, tying all of these things together, that's how you get all of this. This is how you get Yaminica. Did I pronounce it right, Toya? This is how you get FD Signifier. Or Yaminica. Yaminica? Yaminica. It's Yaminica. Right? This is how you get all of that. And what was funny about what Yaminica said, Yaminica, Yaminica said, is if black women were killing black men the way black men kill black women, it would be a crisis. Wait a minute, hold up. Wasn't there like 20 years, almost 20 years of black men being the number one domestic violence abuse victims at the hands of predominantly black women? Am I the only one that remembers that? No, yeah, kind of, maybe, possibly, no, yes, no. Huh. Number one. Number two, you are initiating the violence. As evidenced by black women's same-sex violence. Ooh, goddamn, Mr. Z, you going there? Yeah, I am. That domestic violence, when it's just y'all and y'all, when black women are doing their whole same-sex loving thing, and y'all be beating the crap out of each other. Yeah, you want to have that conversation, Yaminica? If black men are really the issue, then why is it that when you're in a relationship with you, we got to call Officer Charles out to keep you from being up on you or killing you because one of you cheated on you with probably a man? Whoopsie. That part. Women initiate most of the domestic violence. And when she said that, and like I was looking at Pierre, like, could you respond, like, say this? And he doesn't know. So he doesn't know. Right? So this is what we get. Yaminica going on her spiel, FD Signifier taking pot shots at our scholars. Pot shots, excuse me, at our scholars. And he refuses to have a conversation with them. He refuses to debate them. He puts 20 stacks on it. FD, stop it. It was funny, but no. better you said, Mr. Z, you missing it, bro. Lesbian DV is also black men's fault. I've heard an argument that says that it's internalized misogyny that causes them to act that way. And I damn near lost it. Right? I damn near lost it. I was like, so even when we not there, it's still our fault? Isn't that the whole absentee father thing? Men ain't ish. You have a child with a man. He ain't ish. Fine. You take primary custody. He's a fly by night weekend dad, if even, or he just send the money. Y'all don't even live in the same state. He only gets to see his kid during holidays, if even. And somehow when the kid turns out horribly wrong, it's still his fault, even though he was literally not there. You had full control and full range of what that child turned out to be. And yes, every once in a while, the greatest parents might churn out the worst child. That's possible. Probable, but possible. But what's going on in the black community, and for us to say it's because of the absentee father, going back to what Better You said, yeah, yes, it's still black men's fault that the DV rate amongst black same-sex loving women is as high as it is, right? Jamfar said, when black women don't get the results wanted, we are to blame. Listen to Milan on black women beauty status, how we don't prop up black women up to be desired by all. Okay, let's go through that. Right? Let me address that before I read KW's comment. And thank you once again, Jamfar, for the super chat. Thank you, KW Don for the super chat. But give me a second before I read your comment. Let me address Jamfar's comment. So, all my media scholars and anyone in here, who know anything about this PR stuff and everything. How many entertainment houses do we have? Didn't the parent company for CNN just merge with with Discovery? Didn't that just happen? Right? So we have, give or take, what, 4, 5, 6 entertainment houses that own or control like 90% of the things we view in America. And that's all white men. Elite white men, not even regular smegular white dudes. Elite of the elite white men. And that's black men's fault. It's black men's fault that you are not the beauty standard because billionaire white men who take the heads off of other billionaire white men and do hostile takeovers and mergers when they're about to both go bankrupt. Hey, I'm sucking, you sucking. No pun intended. I'm sucking, you sucking. So let's merge together so that we could float. I'm taking on water, you're taking on water. So let me help you with your ship, you help me with my ship, and maybe we could float to land. Actually, I could have actually made that a pun and made that a funny 12-year-old joke. Right. But white elite men who got a thing for white women who look like pubescent white boys, and sometimes they got a thing for pubescent white boys. Ooh, goddamn, Mr. Z. Because that's the image that they continue to put up over and over and over again. It's black men's fault that white men continue to show a certain looking white woman that they like. Only 50 years out of Jim Crow, mind you. Let me get this right. Asian people got all the damn money as a minority group. And even they're complaining about representation in Hollywood. Let me get this right. The same Asian women who white men are marrying aren't being represented in Hollywood in nearly the numbers they actually are. But black women are saying that it's black men's fault that black women aren't the beauty standard or aren't part of the beauty standard? Somebody please, please, please explain this. Okay, it's black men's fault that black women aren't the beauty standard because uber rich, wealthy white men who are hoarding wealth, who continue to merge and are practically monopolies because there's only like 330 some odd million Americans, but 90% of what you watch is owned by about 5 to 6 companies. And that's black men's fault. Only 50 years out of Jim Crow, mind you. Yeah. And so when Paris Milan says that, once again, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Because you remember what Paris Milan said? We live in a capitalist society. Pushing her glow box, her glow up box, or whatever it's called, pretty much just a skincare line, right? We are going to have a real conversation about class and black women, right? Class and how black women are using their education and their supposed entrepreneurship. Just because you got an LLC and got a bead sewing business does not mean you're a business owner, but okay. Damn, Mr. Z, you take pot shots at business owners? No, I'm saying this mentality is much of the reason why they think they're better than black men. Right? And this is how they also weaponize the standards and norms set by the Milton Friedmans of the world, the Frederick Hayeks of the world, right? Their economic understanding of how the world should work, or their understanding of how these economies should work. Economics is a social science, by the way. So it's not just the hard numbers. It's important that I say that for context of this conversation. Social science. A lot of this leads to Darwinism. And if you go too far into Darwinism, guess where you end up? In the gulags. But some black people don't really get it. So they be regurgitating all of this Milton Friedman-esque hyper-capitalist language. And then you wonder why your young people, particularly your black women and your young black women, sound like this. Once again, especially college educated, what do we call really good colleges? Prestigious institutions, right? Prestigious institutions. Is it possible that black women are being institutionalized both by media and by the college system or by the school system, the education system? Yes, of course. And that's why many of them sound like Paris Milan and sound like what Mr. Jamfar, was saying. Blaming black men because rich white elite men decided to put prepubescent looking white women as the beauty standard. Meanwhile, black men are talking about black women's bodies and how much we love black women's bodies, both in a crass way and a elegant way for decades. From everything from I like big butts and I cannot lie to brown eyes, right? To Keisha and Belly. Dark skinned sister, we were drooling, right? All of it across the board, right? I was watching what Rick Ross music video, and his love interest was a sister with the shorter haircut from like the sister from Total, browner skin, not light skin. Across the board, black men talk. Y'all are so hyper focused about the fabulous of the world that say P and B bitch. Excuse my language, which means pretty mixed bitch. Excuse me, right? Y'all are so hyper focused on when Wayne says, you know, beautiful black woman. I bet you that, you know, B look better red. Y'all so hyper focused on that. Y'all ignore all of the other times. We talk about dark-skinned black women. We talk about black women's beauty. We talk about their full lips. We talk about their shape. Right? We put them in our music videos as the primary love interest. But once again, because white men who have a monopoly, rich elite white men who have a monopoly, and let's be honest, many of you black people wish y'all could start a business so y'all could be a monopoly too, but who have a monopoly on what we see, because black men are not those men. It's black men's fault what those men put as the beauty standard. Meanwhile, we watch Byron Allen, we watch Bob Johnson's ex-wife, we watch Diddy, we watched a bunch of these other people, we watch Bill Cosby, we watch all of them speak about what happens when they try to make moves on that level. Right? We watch as brothers who have the money to purchase things have to give their business an obscure name, have to front like it's a white group, have to all of that. Right? But yet Paris Milan is talking the way she's talking. Right? They don't know what they're. Same thing with Cynthia G. They don't know what they don't know what they're talking about. Well, let me take that back. They do know what they're talking about. I need to stop saying that. They do know what they're talking about. It's just another way to take a shot at black men, though. It's not that they don't know what they're talking about. I need to stop saying that. It is either willful ignorance, which means I'm not going to look in that direction because I don't want to know. Right? Or I do know and I don't care because I need to talk about how horrible you are, how weak you are, how you're not industrious enough, how you haven't built enough. And all of this not only is the myth of white womanhood, because they're so hyper focused on the top 20% white women. And excuse me, y'all, gotta blow my nose again. Wait a minute. But I'm back. But not only is this them being hyper focused on the elite top 5, top 1%, top 0.1% white woman and how she's living, but also what that white man is doing. Secretly, I said this on the breakdown once, secretly, and I phrased it a little differently, but secretly, we have to be honest, and I think FD realizes this, especially when he went down the rabbit hole of the divestors. But I want to say to him, FD is not just the divestors. Secretly, there are a number of women of color. This is not exclusive to black women, but black women are the loudest about this. They wish it was their men that were the ones that went around the planet and conquered, raped, pillaged, destroyed the world so that they could live with the top 20% white woman is living. Right? And I would argue Cynthia G and Paris Milan and Chrissy and Real Talk with Yanni are amongst them. They don't have a real sense of humanity. Cut that out. They don't. They don't. Paris Milan over here not using profanity, only using the first letter of the word. I don't F with this, I don't F with that. All of that is crap. This lady don't got no real sense of humanity. Their real issue is that you, black man, weren't the one that went around the planet and destroyed people's culture, decimated people, destroyed the Tasmanians, Wiped out how many Native American tribes, indigenous tribes, right? African tribes, stole whole islands. Shout out to Hawaii. They're mad you're not the one that did that, just so that 20% of them could live what 20% of white women are living. And so when they blame us for these type of things, Jabfar, that's what it really is. You're not y'all don't do anything to prop us up. The Asian Americans got the money. Their daughters are married into the families, and they still don't got representation. What are you talking about? Y'all see the Asians fighting against affirmative action right now? That's white money. That's white special interest groups. That's the same people that want to make the whole entire country charter schools and destroy public schools. That's the same people. It's the same Ben Shapiro types. Asian face, white money, white backers. And yet, Paris Malone talking about what black men aren't doing. Bruh, if you don't get the entire hell out of here. See, when you're hyper focused on black men ain't ish and you're not looking at this thing once again holistically, it shows. It shows. Right? And so let me read KW Don's comment. And once again, thank you, Jabfar, for the super chat. KW Don says Cynthia G and her followers love to talk about a black man reckoning, but no talk about a white woman reckoning for their deeds. You know, once again, this is why I bring up, Kevin. It was interesting, and Paris Malone engaged in some of this too. It was interesting reading the comments from Twitter, from IG, from YouTube in particular, watching the videos where black women in particular were speaking, and it was almost exclusively black women, so there's no reason for me to even say in particular, where black women were speaking as if this was cosmic justice once again, this was some type of African goddess, this was black women's wishes coming true, this was God punishing Kevin Samuels for being so anti-black woman. This was, like I said, African. They were tapping into some type of African spirituality, some type of voodoo or Santeria or Okomi or whatever you want to call it, whatever type of spirituality coming from either the Caribbean or the continent, even homegrown here in America, where this is why the reason why, Kevin's untimely death. And for all of us, even some black women, for all of us, even marginally sensible people, the first thing to our minds was, wait a minute, so the African goddess killed Kevin, but General Lee got to live until old age? Wait. Joe Biden out here living his best life as president, and the African goddess took out Kevin Samuels? Wait. Dylan Roof is probably gonna die in jail of old age, but the African goddess took out Kevin Samuels? We still don't know what happened with Sandra Bland, but the African goddess took out Kevin Samuels? Right? Tamir Rice's mom is still weeping, is still sad because her 12-year-old had a drive-by done on him by the cops. and the African goddess took out Kevin Samuels. Daniel Holesclaw was out here sexually assaulting and straight up graping black women, targeting black women, and graping them and sexually assaulting them. And the African goddess took out Kevin Samuels. Right? Breonna Taylor, her boyfriend just won, what, from what my understanding, some $2 million because the cops were lying on him like he threw her in the way, he started shooting first, blah, 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 blah. Breonna Taylor got home invaded by the cops, essentially. And the African goddess took out Kevin Samuels. So what you're saying is the African goddess is a anti-black male misandrist. Oh, okay. That's you should have just said that. You just should have just said it like that. That's all you had to say. The African goddess is giving white people and white men and white women all type of passes. Right? But, you know, Kevin Samuels, oh no. No, no, no. Nope. He's way too misogynistic, way too sexist now, way too colorist. Nope. The DJ in the Carolinas out here purposely infecting black women, hundreds of black women, hundreds. Reportedly at least, so it could be 1,000. Hundreds of black women with HIV. Hundreds. And the African goddess is out here taking out Kevin Samuels. All right. Uh-huh. Yep. Hey, talking about Kevin, you can't make this ish up. You can't. Right? Y'all tapping into all this, manifest this, manifest that African spirituality, mix this with that, burn this, incense that. Y'all doing all of that to take out Kevin Samuels. Then you got these weirdo sisters, weirdo black women. Y'all remember that black woman Shay Sade covered? The video I did, shout out to Dr. Thunder, he did a review of it, where the sisters talking about this how African men were jealous of African women, and then that's why we're in slavery, and then that's why this and African spiritual what? Right? K.W. Dodson, Queen Elizabeth, and Rockefeller. You can name them. Cecil Rhodes, name them. What the Germans were doing before World War II, what they were doing to the Africans in Africa. Right? You can name them. The African slave trade that was going on with the Middle East. What all those sultans, they just got to live their best life, huh? Right? So you trying to tell me all the Europeans, all the Arabs, right now, India, and what they're doing with their black folks, all the what Argentina did with its black folks, y'all know that story, sending them to war, putting them on the front lines. How the white Brazilians treat the black Brazilians. And yet, The African goddess said, "Yeah, I'm gonna pause on all of that. That's not important. Let me go take out this guy that's been talking about black women publicly on this platform, YouTube and Instagram for the past couple years. Let me go take him out." Right? And let me see. K Dot said that I read his comment. Which one? Let me see. Oh no, it was no. There's a comment of yours that got deleted, but I didn't. I don't know that. Oh, yep. Keeps on getting deleted. Message retracted. Message retracted. Yeah. Right. So I had to say that. I definitely had to get into that because yeah. Somewhere somewhere is an African goddess saying, "Wait a minute, don't put that on me. Y'all sound crazy." Right? The reckoning of black men. White women tricked y'all, because I think a lot of it was a trick, but some of it, I think black women thought they knew what they were doing, but they didn't. So they thought they were being calculated. They still got tricked out of their stuff. So that's what I mean by that. Um, White women ran out the back door with all the gains of the civil rights movement to the point where they're what 80 some odd percent recipients of everything affirmative action, right? So you're trying to tell me the African goddess saw that, whatever African goddess it is, or goddesses it is, or they are, they saw that. They've seen that since what, the 1960s? And they said, huh, yeah, we're just going to let that happen. But this 50 some odd year old man speaking of black women on this YouTube channel, yeah, we got to take him out now. Okay, right, right, huh. George W. Bush flew over New Orleans as people drowned. Barack Obama went to Flint, Michigan and drank water, supposedly from Flint, Michigan, and told those people that water was safe. Bill Clinton took a book cover picture with black men in prison garb. Him and Joe Biden signed the 90s crime bill. Ronald Reagan let his administration play with welfare queen rhetoric. They literally weaponized welfare against black women. Huh. And what you are saying is that the African goddess or goddesses, whoever it is or they are, saw all of that from George Washington all the way to present Joe Biden. Thomas Jefferson got to do what he wanted to do with Sally Hemings, all of that. And you're telling me the African goddesses didn't have none to say about none of that, but they definitely took out Kevin Samuels. Alrighty then. Right? Y'all are weird, bro. Y'all are weird. I'm looking. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Let me see something. Let me see. Because okay, now okay, yeah. See, uh, okay. For those of you Sometimes I miss your comments, like I said, because there's two ways to view comments, and I have to flick back and forth. And so sometimes I miss your comments because one is not reading the comment, and I don't know, whatever. Okay, but give me a second. K dot says, I was asking why these biracials agree with black women teach their mixed children about their blackness, black men don't. Even the biracials with black dads agree with them. Yeah, well, because the black community defaults to black women, right? Currently, the black community defaults to black women, so biracials are going to agree with black women, right? It's that simple. Let me make sure I got your comment correct. Yeah, black women teach their children about black being black. What does that even mean? And I've heard that from multiple people. Yeah, black dads don't teach their children. And there was a white woman that said something like that, right? Black dads don't teach their children about being black. Their mixed children about being black, but black women do. You mean the same black women that when they're not in an interracial relationship, they're raising their sons that, yeah, that black thing, it ain't that serious no more, yeah. And then their sons get scalped by a white racist or get in trouble with a friend, a white friend, because he thought he was white like the white boy. You mean the black women that don't realize the difference between black women and black men? And so they raise their son to be whimsical just like them because they don't understand the world will not be lenient on him like it was on her? You mean those black women? So let me get this right. Black women with white husbands raise mixed black sons better. Whew, that's a bold statement. Neither one of you know what it is to be a black man, but y'all are raising the best black sons. Alrighty then. I want us to think about that comment. So what? Let's go right back to the very beginning with Yaminica's comment. What protect? You don't need us to protect you. What, Mr. Z, where are you going with this? If black women are saying that a black woman white man couple can raise better black sons, then that you don't need us there. You can raise the children better when we're not there. You can raise the children better when it's a white man involved, a Latino man involved. You can raise the children better when it's another woman involved. What protection do you need then? You don't need protection. You don't need black men there. You yourself said it. It's interesting watching women deal with the consequences of their word and then still turn it back on black men. The I can do better all by myself. I don't need no man. Average men. Who wants to be with average anyway? All of this rhetoric. You're dealing with the consequences of that rhetoric. Once again, you're dealing with the consequences of the black woman, white man, can raise better children, better mixed children or black children, air quotes black children, then fine, right? But yeah, y'all, I have been on for a minute, right? Um, I still gotta go take a nap and get ready for work in a little bit. Look, everyone, we covered it. FD Signifier, um, taking shots at our scholars. Just have a conversation with him, FD. Just have a conversation with him, right? FD admitting that emotionally intelligent men aren't exactly the easiest for women because, like we know, women weaponize all this talk about being emotionally intelligent until they run across the man that actually is, right? All this talk about being emotionally intelligent, and then they run across the men that actually is, and then they actually weaponize the fact that he is emotionally intelligent against him with supposed patriarchal rhetoric. Why you acting like a, excuse my language, why you acting like a bitch? FD, could you just admit that the game is that you're not supposed to win? As a black man, you're always supposed to be on the losing side of a conversation, of a debate, of an argument, of a disagreement with a black woman. So she reserves the right to continuously move the goalpost. So emotionally intelligent is the language of the day right now, especially for the fact that, inflation and people starving, people don't got no money like that. So now they got to go back to something that actually can't be measured. This is really women's way of saying, okay, these niggas got more money than us, even when we're more educated. So my education, right? And I really do got this middle management job. I don't have the status that I keep on claiming I do, right? So how do I lower these Negroes that earn more than me? I could keep on bragging about my education, but if I make 45 and he make 55 or he makes 60, how much does that education really matter in the scheme of this conversation, especially when we're not speaking about a particular topic that falls under what I was educated in? Emotional intelligence, because you can't actually quantify it. You can't actually say a person is level 7 on emotional intelligence, a level 9 on emotional intelligence, a level 3 on emotional intelligence, because you can't really scale it. There we go. Right? You can't measure emotional intelligence. Or not easily, anyway. Not easily. Right? But like I said, even FD had to admit, hey, ladies, let's be honest. And with that, he also, there was another video where he's pretty much saying, like, the rabbit hole of the manosphere language. Yeah, we got your sons. Maybe not your sons in particular, FD, and that still remains to be seen because they're still kind of young. But until y'all start having a conversation about y'all bratty ass, hypocritical ass daughters, it's easy. And it's not just inconsistencies. The whole game is fucked. Excuse my language. Right? The whole game is screwy. And so, yeah, it's easy to get your sons because your sons, when they start hitting puberty and they realize how the girls talk and how hypocritical they are in music, how inconsistent a lot of this is, when they see even their teachers, their women teachers, then they graduate high school, now they're in college or now they're in the workforce, and they're hearing women talking, they're like, what in the entire, wait, you want to be equal but not really? Like Dr. T said, wait a minute, you're looking for me to pay for everything and have 6 figures out the gate. We're both in college right now. We're both in uni right now. Shout out to Brits. I said uni. University right now, right? We're both going to be in student loan debt up to our eyeballs. But I'm supposed to walk out the door with 6 figures to gain any type of attention or respect or anything from you? Victor said our sisters are a failed state. Oh man. Excuse me. That's excuse me. That's a video within itself. That's a video within itself. I'm Victor Creed. Stay tuned. It might not be happening soon, but that's a video within itself. I might remix that and turn that into a title for something because that's, yeah. Right? So yeah, it's easy to to speak to the black boys and black men, and even the white boys and white men and the Latinos and the Latinas, well, the Latinos, excuse me, the young Latinos and older ones, because they're realizing, okay, I thought they just wanted the right to vote and work and do what they wanted to do, but what I'm actually realizing is a lot of this is to lord over men and then use some type of understanding of cosmic justice to say whatever negative happens to us, we deserve it. At their hands, at the hands of the elite, at the hands of the state. Yeah, it's easy for us to get, that's, how many is that now? Khadijah now, um, FD now, right? To a certain extent, both Julesy and Nappy Headed Hoba, although they've done it on a smaller scale, where people are admitting, yeah, we might have took this niggas ain't shit thing a little too far. It's too late now. Y'all better go start trying to work on the alphas and the generation after them, the unborn. But when it comes to Gen Z, yeah, it's too late. Millennials, way too late. Gen X, out of here. No, it's too late now. No, it's too late. Too many generations, too many years, too many decades of men ain't ish, particularly niggas ain't ish, and you're here now. And your sons have heard that, and they're moving. They're moving in respect to that statement. They're moving in response to that statement. It's too, FD, no, that's too late. It's too late even for the Gen Z, it's too late. And then your sons could go online and listen to women. You know what? Excuse my language. I'm using straight profanity from now on. Fuck what the niggas are saying. You know what? All right, let me take a page out of the intersectional feminist book. Fuck what the men are saying. Fuck it. Fine. The boys are they're listening to what the girls are saying too online. Oh, see? Problem. The boys are listening to the girls. It wasn't just Kevin. Those little street corner conversations where the men were asking women different conversations. They're in Vegas, they're in Miami Beach, they're all over the country. Right? They're in the corners. They're in New York. They're in L.A. They're all over the country, just putting hey, what you think about this? So if your man did this, or and they're watching all the hypocrisy and inconsistencies, and y'all don't know what to do with that. Decades, y'all been socializing these boys and these girls for decades, and the girls sound even worse now because they're trying to merge second wave feminism with I still want you to pay for everything and do everything and take these bullets and take whatever comes with manhood if something goes wrong. I don't actually want equality. And FD, that's when we get your sons. It's too easy. So Kevin could be off the table. I could be off the table. All the men could be off the table. The only men we need are the ones that go out and actually talk to women. Shit, we don't even need that, honestly. We could just have the women talk to the women. And we still get your sons. Right? Because it's way too much hypocrisy. It's just way too much. Right? And shout out for that. I just had to check that real quick. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Thank you for that, Toya with the Cash App. Thank you, Toya. Right. It's just way too much. So we don't, like I said, what, fuck the men. All right, we don't matter. We're a non-factor. Just put a microphone in a woman's face and just watch all the. It's not hypocrisy is not the word. It's not hitting strong enough. I need a stronger word. But yeah, Just watch the crap just fall out their mouth and like, wait a minute, how? But 1 + 1 = 8. Wait a minute, what? 7 + 7 = 37. Wait, what? How did that? I mean, we literally have videos. Y'all, I don't know how many of y'all saw this where the brother, I think he was on a beach in a beach setting, right? And he actually, it looked like a white Latina girl. Some question, she answered a particular way for women. He turned around and he asked the brother the same question, and he was talking about looks, and and he answered it pretty much exactly how she answered it, and she had a problem with how he answered it. And I just remember thinking to myself, wait a minute, but that's exactly what you just said. Now, I'm in my 30s. You think the 15-year-olds don't see that too? You think the 14-year-olds, the 13-year-olds, the 12-year-olds don't see that too? So we could talk about our boys being immature. We could talk about arrested development. We could talk about that ad nauseum. We already have for decades. We could talk about the hypocrisy in men. We already have. We can shine a light on it. We already have. No one's saying we're not. Right? But once we start having that conversation about how modern women are trying to fuse intersectional feminism and modernity with patriarchy because they still don't actually want to let go the baubles of patriarchy, the provider protector thing, the the no matter what, I as a man take responsibility for my wife and my children, and whatever happens with that part, they don't want to let that go. And FD, y'all are gonna run into that wall every single time, right? So I just wanted to make sure, get that part out as my ending. And Yaminica, that was Yaminica. I don't know about God, bruh. And I'm not trying to be like disrespectful by saying her, like butchering her name. I'm really not, like, yeah. Anyway, okay. Yeah, it's just, yeah, with her standard issue, black woman thing. We nothing special there. Standard issue thing. The we need to come together, but and it's funny because it's the we need to come together, but I just want you to know you ain't ish, right? I already started using profanity. Screw it. We need to come together, but you niggas ain't ish. You niggas ain't shit, right? It's funny how those conversations start. We're separating, and y'all are not protecting us, and y'all not supporting us, and y'all ain't shit, and y'all. And then when y'all do have money, y'all go date out, and oh boy, yawn. The Yaminicas of the world don't realize the shift, and so they're still operating off of the old software system. And there's a lot. This is the one thing I'll stand on. You're gonna watch white women try to run back. You're gonna watch Latina women try to run back. Even some of the black women who have their fingers to the wind, they're gonna try to run back. But the majority, I would argue, are gonna get hit by that wave. Whatever the wave is, if it's just isolation, if it's dying destitute, if it's dying alone, not just alone, but miserable and alone and childless and manless, if it's whatever that is, they're gonna get hit by it because they're so busy looking in that in the direction of niggas ain't shit. They're so busy with that mantra, they're gonna get hit with whatever the wave is, whatever that is for them individually and for black women as a group. Because the shift is happening. We already see it with how white men are pulling back a lot of these things. Affirmative action is under attack. We already see what happened with Roe versus Wade. right? White men are done. And so as that paradigm starts to shift, black women are going to be the ones that are cut out there the most because they just can't get off of it. And Yaminica, to me, is a prime example of that, right? Real Talk with Yanni is a prime example of that. Like I said, Chrissy got her finger to the wind a little bit, but she's still with the rhetoric. Same thing with Paris Milan, right? Kim from For Harriet too. They got their Kim from For Harriet not dumb. She got her finger out. She see what she see it. She could describe it. But ooh, those emotions that these niggas ain't ish, right? These niggas ain't shit, right? And so there you go. So Yaminica, they can't let it go, right? What did Kim from For Harriet say? I have the choice not to F with you. Okay. And they go for why did I look down? He said, Zaddy giveth and Zaddy take it away. Take it away. Well, they're just gonna have to find out the difficult way, unfortunately. Unfortunately. I don't and that's not an all black woman thing, right? But a lot, a lot, a lot. The smartest, fastest of them are going to turn around and try to couple up with the man, maybe even try to couple up with each other, try to get them for real. Stop talking all this swirl or divester talk and try to actually be about it. Go end up under some white man. As this paradigm shift hits, this inflation really kicks people in the butt, right? As that K-shaped recovery that they talked about early on at the end of, well, air quotes, end of COVID, as that happens, and the gap between rich and poor becomes more and more of a chasm. It's already a chasm. It gets larger as we turn more and more into a renter society instead of a owning and buying society because elite rich white men dictated it and decided it. As that happens, you're going to see women, the smartest of them are going to do this. They're going to drop their pride and get down with a man, a black man. But the hard up ones, so when Mr. Z doesn't just say the die alone, like, you're going to die alone, threat, 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 threat. No. I'm gonna laugh and dance on your grave. No, I'm not you. I'm not gonna dance on your grave. I'm saying your pride is gonna have you looking real sad. I mean, I like to direct you to Ostefco, right? I don't like to direct you to Chrissy in her moment of sadness. I would like to direct you to Kim from Port Harriet. Even she admitted, yes, sometimes I'm gonna want to have to. Yep, 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 yep. The only one this doesn't necessarily apply to like that is Khadijah because she's queer. Once again, I don't know how much y'all want to take relationship advice from a person who admits that they don't got to worry about none of this because they're queer. So they don't have to worry about the actions of their word and their sentiments and their worldview. So if they're dead ass wrong, they don't have to worry about it. Shit, I'm not with a man anyway. I'm not gonna have any kids anyway. So if I'm not gonna have any kids, I mean I'm definitely not gonna have a son. So yeah, I have a brother, and a dad. I mean like yeah, but my own child, I don't have to worry about the consequences of my own worldview on my own child. That's why Mr. Z, that's another reason why Mr. Z speaks the way he does. I have nieces. I have girls and women that I care about. And then black women in general that I care about, not just the ones I know. I don't want to see y'all homeless on social media speaking about how lonely you are, much of which you contributed to your damn self. I don't want for you to make videos about how black boys ain't trying to check for y'all or talk to y'all, and your mom don't actually want to tell you the truth. Oh, a bit of that might be because when I was your age, or when I was in my 20s and 30s, yeah, we were telling all the black men and black boys how they ain't ish and how we didn't need them and how we could do better by ourselves. And so yeah, the boys your age heard us saying that, and yeah. How many black women have been that honest with their daughters? How many black women have been honest with their daughters? Mommy, mommy, the black boys in school, they're not really, they don't talk to us black girls. How many of y'all, the first thing, colorism, because they dads is raising them to just worship white women. Mm-hmm. Chase after Latinas. Yep, yep, uh-huh. Yeah, that's the reason. That's the only reason why. Decades of these niggas ain't ish and we don't need them. Yeah, that has nothing to do with it. Yaminica, everyone. Yeah, it's mainly grown folks who checked out that comedy hype video. Obviously, I'm almost certain that their under 18 viewership, under 20 viewership is negligible, particularly for that video. They don't know who Pierre is. They don't know, you know, they don't know. But that sentiment, mm, under 20, yeah, they know that sentiment. Once again, excuse me, you guys, my nose a little stuffy, right? And so that's what I wanted to stress today. Mainly, FD, we already got your sons. Once again, maybe not your sons in particular, and that still remains to be seen. But yeah, we already got the sons. It's too easy. It's too easy. Y'all spent too long blowing smoke up girls and women's rear end, and now your son's got to deal with the consequences of women that literally like walking balls of hypocrisy. And I'm not saying the boys aren't. I'm saying we have made it way okay to critique them, okay, but not critique the girls and the women. And now there's a huge market for doing just that. And because y'all let it go unaddressed for so long and it got so bad. And it is so bad. Your sons are literally, and I said, y'all heard me, I've been saying that for years. Y'all didn't heard me say that. 16-year-olds are sharing divorce statistics. 16-year-olds. I'm not just talking about the black ones neither. 16-year-old boys are sharing divorce statistics with each other. What you think that's going to do for your society? Excuse me, y'all. Right? 16-year-olds. Right? You have 15-year-olds sharing um manosphere videos, 15 and 14-year-olds. Why do you think they're sharing it, FD? Just because of the algorithm? I'm not going to say the algorithm is not influencing this. That would be a lie. You think it's only because of the algorithm? Or just like the little girls go down a rabbit hole when they get their little heart broken or get ignored by the boy they think they want in high school? You know, the one that sends them down the rabbit hole of all these black men are colorists on the level of neo-Nazis, and now they 30-something years old still saying the same thing? Yeah. So, just like those little girls go down that rabbit hole, would you think these boys ain't going down a certain rabbit hole? You better hope they find somebody like me. Because they find some of the other brothers in these type of spaces. Pfft, all right. You let that black boy get his heart destroyed, get insulted, get belittled by black girls enough. And then the passport bros get a hold of him. It's over. You let SYSBM get a hold of him. It's over. Because those men ain't no debate. Be the best man you can be, strive, make money, get educated, and then dip off. Your absence will be the wall of indifference. Now what? And with that, right, right. Toya said, "Run Z his likes, y'all. Yes, please hit that like button. Hit those like button, right?" And I don't know, my subscriber base, YouTube been messing with the number. Huh, huh. That's all I'll say, huh? Yeah, that number been for like a good month and a half. I've watched that number go up and down, and I'll gain a couple and lose a couple and and it's never done that before, right? I've never been stuck this long putting out this much content, y'all actually liking, people actually engaging with what I'm saying, um, right? And like people are coming in and then people are leaving at the same time and the numbers just kind of stay stagnant. It's weird, right? But and the reason why I think I'll end out after this. The reason why I say the things I say, I put out the content I put out, is as a working class black man, right? In the middle class, working class, middle class, I use them interchangeably sometimes. Growing up, it was just a constant drumbeat, and you see the fever pitch of it coming in, leaving the 2010s into right 2020, right? And culminating with Kevin's channel and those of us in the Black Manosphere and our ascendancy. Um, it was just a constant drumbeat about how black boys, but black men in particular, even as a black boy, I remember this type of messaging of how black men were just absolutely horrible. Black men were absolutely horrible. It was every other day. And so when you get the black men or the white racists or white men of the black community, and when you get the black men or the weakest link, when you get those coming into 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, that's like the fever pitch of that type of, we're throwing everything at you, right? I remember the DL campaign in the 90s. Black men are secretly gay, right? They're secretly on the DL having sex with men, even though they're married and dating women. The women are their mustache. I remember that in the 90s. I remember how Waiting to Exhale hit the black community, right? I remember with No Scrubs and Can You Pay My Bills, and he was particularly No Scrubs, what that did to the black community. Oh my God. So my channel is the reason why I speak the way I do, and it's not just the exercise and just me bloviating. Pause. It's not just me trying to scam a couple dollars from you guys. Although, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Right? It's not any. It really is a working class black man born and raised in America who saw the same things a lot of my subscribers have seen. Those of them that are older than me and younger than me, and just me speaking about it and me speaking about the frustration of being this man and then being told from your academics and your elites whose job it was to protect you. Excuse my language, I'm going to curse up a storm now. You fucking losers. Your job is not to actually tell me every other day how horrible I am as a fucking human being. Your job is to protect us from the rich white elites if you didn't fucking know. Your job is to critique this goddamn shitty ass economy. Your job wasn't to play winners and losers in the black community and prop up your daughters because they're weaker and they're easy to manipulate. That wasn't your job. Your job wasn't to sacrifice your sons to white supremacist capitalism and your daughters, actually. That wasn't your job. Your job wasn't to use white feminist racist language against your sons. Right? That wasn't your job. And so coming back down, being a black millennial, and this is where FD comes in, and he see it. I don't know why it took him so goddamn long, but right? Yes, the left, FD, all they do is men bad. That's why you're shedding men. Right? That's why you're shedding men. So years of that, decades, centuries, decades, right? Decades of that has gotten us here. And so, yeah, your son, yeah, no, it's easy to get your sons. So the reason why my channel is the way it is I'm speaking the frustration of working class men who, elite men, let me call a thing. Elite men have weaponized women against working class men. I said it. And FD, you see it too. I refuse to believe you're as educated as you are and you don't know exactly what just happened over the past 50 years. You know. Elite men, rich men, weaponized women and feminism, second wave feminism, against working class men, middle class men. And they're using them as the rhetorical weapon, right? They're using them as the buffer class, but mainly as a rhetorical weapon. So we have to go through the women to get them, right? So the frustration you hear oftentimes from me, the things I decide to cover, particularly the people I decide to critique and speak about their videos or review whatever they're saying or doing, the things I put in my community chat often, excuse me, is to speak about the overall environment, the way it's affecting all of us, particularly the black community, particularly black men singularly and black women singularly, right? Big Kev said 90% of liberal arts degrees are useless. Thank you for the super chat, Big Kev. For real. So that's the reason I speak the way I do. That's the reason I cover the things I cover. Like I said, my community chat speaks about a lot of these things holistically. Because once again, for the past few, at least for my life, all we've heard is how horrible men are. And what it culminated into, and this is where FD and all the other people don't want to really deal with this, is women who still wanted to be with men. They wanted to use men as a walking ATM machine, though. Calling into Kevin's show and trying to finagle some type of hypocritical way of getting men and keeping those men. Trying to get Kevin to give them some type of secret sauce. What's the secret sauce? What's the secret sauce to get the elite men and keep them? That's what all of that was about. Y'all keep on ignoring that. Oh, they're there because they have low self-esteem. They're there because they're wayward women. They're there. I don't know why those women are there. They're there because they're trying to find the secret sauce to get the elite men and keep them. How can I get the rich men, the well-to-do men, to be with me and to stay? At least stay long enough until I'm ready to go. Right? All of you kept on ignoring that. And what I loved is how diverse the group of women were. That's what I loved. It didn't matter physique, it didn't matter skin tone, it didn't matter educational background, class, income, region of the country, shit, region of the world, race, religion, it didn't matter. They all were saying the same thing. And that's where, and once again, that's why my channel comes in to say, voila. So that's why my channel's here. To say y'all failed. Decades of all that crap y'all were doing failed. The women still want what they want. Now they just sound crazier about it. Even FD got to tacitly admit, but once again, he frames it in patriarchy. It's internalized patriarchy. Women are also raised in patriarchy. Our default is patriarchy. Right? And Big Kev says they hate, and thank you for the super chat, Big Kev. Big Kev says they hate the Black Manosphere because, damn, I pressed the wrong button, sorry. Excuse me, give me a second, you guys. Gotta blow my nose. Wait a minute. I'll be back, Big Kev. Big Kev says they hate the Black Manosphere because despite our caustic criticisms of women, especially black women, we are far more fair and balanced than they are, than the far left. I agree with you 100% on that. I agree with you 100% on that. I would say the far social left, not so much the far left that speaks about economics, right? Because the far left that speaks about economics speaks about how this kind of economic structure we're dealing with is half the reason we're having this schism, right? Not half, but much of the reason why we're having this schism. But that far social left, that intersectional feminism ticking all the way to the nth degree, definitely, you are 100% correct on that. 100%. They don't really know how to deal with it because those of us that have these tough conversations, I keep on bringing up Kevin because of how notable he was and how big his channel was, or is now. It's 1.6 million subscribers now. That's just ridiculous, right? But because they really didn't know what to do with so many women sounding the way they did. And they can't just say, oh, it's just lower class women, it's just loser women, or it's just, gold digging women, and like, no. That's why how diverse that was so important. Right? That social left, they don't know what to do with that. Because it goes right back to what the lady Me, Art of Immore, and BGS covered, which is what's her name? Liz. It's not Liz Money. It's Anne Marie. And okay, I can't remember. But one of the women, the white, I want to say feminist, and she spoke about how, like, these women want these kick-ass positions in these jobs and whatnot, but when she tells them, hey, you got to be ready for your man to kind of be the primary caregiver, and you got to be you're going to be the primary breadwinner, and blah blah blah. That's the stop that they get off. And she admits we socialize the men to eat this, but the women won't do it. And she's not the only one. It's mainly white feminists that are saying that. And let me say it, occasionally bell hooks will say something like that too. There you go, FD. I did what you do and tacitly say, you know what? They might have a point over there a little bit. Right? And What the Heart Soul, once again, thank you for your super chat with the Heart Soul. He says their delusion on wealth affects black politics. Ding, 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 ding. Eggs. What the huddle, bruh? Your comment. I've had a lot of great comments today. Thank you, everybody who's been here with me. I don't know, for 3 hours something. Yeah, Mr. Z gonna have to dip off in a minute. God damn. Right, for real. I gotta go take a nap before work. What the huddle, bruh? That okay. So this is where I come in. I'm not gonna put words in this brother mouth, but I think, and these brothers' mouths, I think this is where Tone Talks comes in. I think this is where Army Ose Frimpong comes in. I think this is where Yvette comes in. I think this is where BGS comes in. Their delusion on money does affect black politics. Bro, you couldn't say it any better. Right? You couldn't say it any, bruh, you couldn't say it any better. That was and you saw it with Kevin's show. That you summed up pretty much everything I've been trying to say for months when I keep on bringing up Kevin, right? Because I disagreed with Kevin on certain things. I'm never going to tell y'all what it is, right? But what you saw in Kevin's show over and over and over again was exactly what you're saying. And here's the problem. Black people we don't have the luxury of this lottery dream crap. We don't. That temporarily embarrassed millionaire feeling that white folks get to play with, we don't get to play with that. You don't have the luxury. Right? And what Kevin showed on his channel is how many of these women are delusional and they do have a temporarily embarrassed millionaire mindset. And I'm not saying there's not black men that think like that. What I'm saying is we allowed so many women to have that and us not ever investigate that. And then, like you said, their politics and their worldview is wrapped around that. This is where you get Paris Malone. We live in a capitalist society. The neoliberal mindset. This is where Lexus Exodus comes in, right? White men are better simply because they're white men in a white supremacist system, right? If you want to talk about patriarchy, fine. White men are better simply because they are white men in a white patriarchal structure. Right? Toya says delusions of stupor. I'm saying. And so, what the huddle, bro? That comment, you and Victor, bro, y'all giving me show topics, y'all giving me content topics. Thank you. That's actually gonna go into something I'm actually working on. The video I told y'all guys I'm gonna work on. Talking about American hope is currency, right? I might, yeah. That comment with the huddle, that's perfect comment, bro. Thank you. Right. Their delusion on wealth affects black politics. It does. It does. And I'm not saying, once again, we don't have wayward brothers. Y'all have heard me have these conversations with other brothers on different platforms. Y'all can see when Mr. Z, y'all don't really see Mr. Z get too heated and animated. But when it comes to these type of talks, this is when y'all see that side of me, because it does affect black people and black politics and where we can be as individuals in the next 10, 15, 20 years and where we can be as a group in the next 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 years. But I know, and I bring this up all the time. Y'all are really going to keep me here forever. I bring this up all the time. There were two people that came into black social media. And when they came into black social media, people made fun of one of their sexuality. People made fun of the way the other one spoke. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. But I witnessed with my own two eyes, a lot of that Jordan and Weave conversation is dead. It's done. They deaded that. Yeah, there's people still doing the LLC talk, but it's not the same. The The financial literacy conversation, it still goes on. I've been witness to it post them, but it's not the same, right? Because the black community largely is, and I don't blame us for that, right? Can you guys hear me? Right? Spainman said did he go quiet? I'm still here. I'm still here. But yeah, what I was saying is the conversation has changed, right? The conversation has changed post these two particular people that came into the door speaking about the money and the wealth and what we actually have and how we actually spend it. Because what was going on before is that we spent our money on dumb stuff and that's why we broke. And that's just such a convenient answer for the black entrepreneurial class, but not really them. I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming brothers with y'all businesses and y'all making y'all money. I'm not blaming y'all. For white elite. For white elite, even us, particularly on the right and the left, they both benefited from well, the reason why y'all don't got none is because y'all spend y'all money on dumb things. On things that don't maintain value, on these flimmer Jordans and weave. That's why y'all don't got no money. That's why y'all can't save. Right? So yeah, thank you, brother. Once again, what the heart of soul with the comment. Their delusion on wealth affects black politics, and it does. And black people's collective delusion on wealth affects black politics, but in particular, black women's. And I think it's going to be frightening when people really start lifting the lid on this, pulling the cover from over this, and seeing how many black women are neoliberal as hell. What does that mean, Mr. Z? Just market-based lens. They look at everything through a market lens. And why are you so hyper-focused on black women? Because we already had the conversation about black men. We already critique black men to the nth degree with this talk. And we never really spoke about how mothers and aunts and grandmas are raising their children, their grandchildren, their nieces and nephews with this neoliberal ass lens. And how does that affect community mindset? And then how does that affect also the way the little girls view race, the way the little girls view money, the way the little girls view class? Y'all really want to have this conversation? Fine, let's have it for real then. FD and Yaminica. Yaminica? I'm okay, I'm going to stop now. So I will truly pause right there. Thank you very much, everyone. Mr. Z got to go get him some sleep. Like I said, thank you for the stream, for being here for the stream. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the super chats and the cash apps. Thank you everyone for being here. Like I said, my channel is here, and I actually started to ask myself that question, like, what is your channel for? Are you just going off? I'm like, no. You know, when you have the internal conversation, you know, this is what happens when you're introspective, you know, you have that conversation with yourself. Yeah. Try not to look like a crazy person though. But yeah, why is your channel here? It's to speak the frustration of everyday black men. And it's to inform your fellow everyday black man about what's going on in the world so they don't sound delusional like others. Some of the sisters, right? That's why my community chat is all over the place. Not my community chat, sorry. My community tab is all over the place. Telling you what's going on, latest in science, latest in technology, what's going on, this social issue. Look at this woman kill this man. All of it. All of that. I'm a gearhead, so yeah, car stuff too. Right? But just letting you, politics here, history there, all of it. If I showed you all the stuff I'm subscribed to, it's manic, right? So yeah, I'm going to speak the frustration of your everyday regular black man that's being chastised like he's some rich white elite man, right? Or he wants to be. Most of us just want to live, we want a comfortable life. Most of us don't even care about the elite crap. Side note, I remember having a conversation with one of my co-workers once. If we would have hit billions of dollars, I'm like, nigga, I'm not getting no yacht. I don't care about boats like that. He was like, man, you'll change your mind if you was a billionaire. No, if it was that serious, I'll charter one maybe for a little bit, but I don't care about boats. I'm not gonna do it just because it's a sign of if you're really wealthy, you better own a yacht. That's how you show you're wealthy. Nah, right? So that goes to what I'm saying. Like most of us, we just want to raise our kids, love our women, build something to leave it behind for the kids, and if we can, do something for people that in the black community that we don't even know. But that's not how you're spoken to as an everyday black man. You're spoken to like you're a loser, defective black woman and a loser, defective loser, defective black woman and loser, defective white man simultaneously, right? Lion, you know I read that comment. I'm not answering that question. And on that note, right? Lionel with the joke, y'all. I said Lionel. Why I keep on saying Lionel? Um, Lion, excuse me, Lion. Lion with the joke. You know when the person come in with the joke, he'd be like, "Damn, this nigga," right? Right? No, I'm messing with you, Lion. But yeah, so on that note, I'm actually just using you as an excuse to go to sleep. On that note, Mr. Z will pause right there for real this time. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Let me go inside to get the death stare from my girl because I've been here way too long, right? And yeah, you see what I just said? The death stare from my girl because my girl, she got a mind of her own and she's a real woman, you know, a real human being. And so Mr. Z's not some Ike Turner, you see, because we're real human beings with real relationship dynamics. And so that means when I go too far, when I do something, I might have to be like, yeah, babe, I might have stayed out a little too long, you know, because we're real human beings, not that stuff that Yaminica was trying to imply that we are, right? Or some of these other content creators. Yeah, black men just want to be these white men with these superpowers and da 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 da. No. Yeah, we're real people with real relationship dynamics with our loved ones. Yeah. Okay. So I will pause right there, right? And y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Like I always say, check out other Black Manosphere content, even though FD Signifier doesn't want you to. And check out other non-Black Manosphere stuff, everything, history, politics, and all that other good stuff. Meech, you walking in here literally as I close out. Just listen to the replay at like two times speed. It's interesting. Good stuff. Good stuff. Right? And I'm gonna close it out. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Like I said, Black Manosphere content and non-Manosphere at all content, history, politics, and all other stuff, technology, so y'all can know what's going on in the world and what has gone on in the world. And I will pause right there. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out.